Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Southwest.
Last spring, the Rangers struck gold when C.J. Wilson's move to the rotation was a huge success. Few really believed that the team could strike twice with Alexi Ogando's spring rotation trial. Even fewer dared to dream that Alexi would be a rotation mainstay. Ogando has quickly become one of baseball's best, even as he continues to learn the ropes of starting. Today, the amazing Alexi continues his tour through the American League as the Rangers wrap up against the Royals next on Fox Sports Southwest. With Tom Grieve and your little friend Kinky.
This is Kinky. She belongs to Allie, our stage manager, and it's Dog Day.
It is Dog Day. There's plenty of extra fans into the ballpark today, among a crowd of at least 40,000, and they get to see the continuation of one of the most remarkable early careers as a starting pitcher in recent baseball history. Alexi Ogando coming off so far his best ever Monday and shutting out the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah, and I heard you before we came on air say one of baseball's best, and it's pretty remarkable when you think coming out of spring training, all the Rangers were hoping for would be he'd be good enough to keep his head above water until Tommy Hunter came back. And he's not only done that, he's pitched himself into elite status a third of the way through the season. He's pitched deep into ball games, which was a question. He's had excellent off-speed pitches, which was another question. And he's coming off a remarkable game, a complete game shutout of the Chicago White Sox. He really has been one of the best stories in the American League so far.
And he is statistically the toughest pitcher to hit right now in the American League. Opponent batting average against him of only 181. He goes against Royals rookie left-hander Danny Duffy, who made his major league debut last week in Kansas City against the Rangers. He's got a red-hot bat in Adrian Beltre to contend with. We'll have the lineups and the first pitch coming up on Fox Sports Southwest. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. By the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. By Jack in the Box. Get the new Bourbon Barbecue Steak Grilled Sandwich now at Jack in the Box. And by Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards. Unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. A cloudless sky. Temperatures expected to reach at least the mid-90s today, 90 degrees at the moment, as we get set for the third and final game of this series. The Rangers and the Royals both hoping to win the rubber game, take 2 out of 3. As we look at the Southwest Airlines starting lineup for Ned Yost's Kansas City Royals, and again at the top, Gordon Cabrera, the rookie Hosmer, Butler, and Bettamy, one of the top hitters this year in the American League. Mitch Meyer getting a rare start. He is the Littleview's 4th outfielder for Kansas City this year. Day game after night game, Pena gets the start behind the plate with Getz and Escobar again at 8 and 9. And Alexi Ogando, Tom, with 2 remarkable numbers. An ERA of 181, second in the league, and an opponent batting average of 181, best in the major leagues.
It's definitely impressive. 5-0 in 9 starts, 59 innings. He's only given up 38 hits. He's only walked 14 batters. Monday, he had a shutout, went 9 innings, only 5 hits, struck out 6. 6 or more innings pitched and 2 or fewer runs in 8 of his 9 starts. And you can add 5 or fewer hits to that too. And it's just been a remarkable start for Alexi Ogando. He had the 1 start in New York where he gave up some home runs. Other than that, he's been pretty much untouchable in 8 out of his 9 starts. Most of his runs have come by way of the home run. There haven't been many of them.
Strike 1 to Alex Gordon. Gordon in his 11th game as the leadoff hitter for Ned Yost. 8-game hitting streak snapped by going 0 for 3 last night. And quickly, Ogando out in front of him, 0-2. Ogando has given up only 12 runs in his first 9 starts. 9 of those 12 runs on 6 home runs. And really the only team to get to him was the New York Yankees. The early season road trip, the national Sunday night telecast. Gordon down on 3 pitches.
Well, that's 95, 95, 96. See you later. Torrealba asked for the ball inside. He got it inside and more. Gordon could not make contact with that pitch.
So 1 gone. Melky Cabrera also saw a hitting streak snap with an 0 for yesterday. He was 0 for 4. His streak was a modest 5 games. But he put his stamp on this series with the first of their 3 14th inning home runs off of Dave Bush in the first game on Friday. Andres Blanco is at shortstop today for the Rangers.
That, I think, is what's been most impressive about Ogando. Everybody knew he could come in and throw 97 miles an hour and throw a hard slider. He did that all season last year as a setup reliever. What people weren't sure of, would he have the off-speed pitches to be a starting pitcher? The last pitch was a changeup. That's a pitch he didn't have at the beginning of the year. He fiddled around with a splitter, couldn't perfect it, went to a changeup. It's becoming a really good pitch for him. And he also changes speeds on his slider. So he's got a couple of different pitches now that he can throw for off-speed pitches to go with the fastball and the hard slider. And the results are pretty much what we've been talking about so far. Puts him up in elite status among leaders in the American League.
Ball 1 to Eric Hosmer, the rookie first baseman. Last night 1 for 4. Friday, his first career 4-hit, 4 RBI game. 1 ball and 1 strike. And he had the second of the 3 14th inning home runs off of Bush, his 4th of the year. Hosmer at the point he was brought up, leading all minor leaguers with a .439 batting average, a .525 on base percentage, and he was in the midst of an 8-game hit streak for Omaha, hitting .613 in the streak.
And the off-speed pitch, he got Cabrera to tap back to the mound off the end of the bat with his changeup, and there's a beauty right there that Hosmer missed. I think all you can say about Ogando based on 9 starts is he's got great aptitude, and when he has to learn something, it doesn't take him long to do it. If the changeup is any example of it.
And the change still coming in at 85 miles an hour, but that's the difference that you're shooting for with the change. The fastball coming in at 95. Most pitchers look for 8 to 10 miles per hour variance. Enough to completely disrupt the hitter's timing. 3-2. One of the most amazing things, Tom, I think, in Ogando's first 9 starts is the impeccable control. Only 14 walks in right at 60 innings now.
Yeah, that part of it's been very impressive.
Broken bat looper, and it is tracked down by Kinsler out in short right center field. The Royals go in order in their half of the first. Kinsler and the Rangers coming to bat. Nothing into the bottom of the first, and the Rangers again with Ian Kinsler at the top of their lineup. As we said, Andres Blanco giving Elvis Andrus a day off is short, and then Hamilton, Young, Beltre, and Cruz. The Rangers hoping that Cruz builds off a phenomenal performance after an adjustment yesterday. Mike Napoli at first, Torrealba behind the plate, and again, Greg Gentry is in center field.
Danny Duffy starts for Kansas City. He's only 22 years old. His first major league start came 2 starts ago against the Rangers. He's pitched pretty well. He's had a little bit of a problem with command, though. He's walked 9 in 9 1/3 in his 2 major league starts. Against the Rangers, he walked 6 in 4 innings. At AAA, he was pitching very well, had a lot of strikeouts, and walks were not a problem in AAA. He only walked 10 batters in 36 innings there. So you have to think the adrenaline's pumping a little bit. Nerves enter into it until you get accustomed to big league life. But he certainly has a good arm, and the future is very bright. Kansas City is counting on him to be one of their rotation stalwarts over the next 10 years.
1 ball and 1 strike to Kinsler. Mike Estabrook is calling the balls and strikes. Jeff Nelson at first, Marty Foster at second, and Bill Welke is at third. Danny Duffy, the 6th pitcher to make his major league debut with the Royals this year already. The other 5 all in the bullpen. And this 3rd round draft pick, 2007, out of Cabrillo High School, Lompoc, California, also matched against Alexi Ogando last Wednesday in his major league debut. Out to the second baseman, and Chris Getz throws out Kinsler. And defensively, Kansas City in the top 4 in the American League. Meyer joining Cabrera and Gordon in the outfield. Same infield the Rangers have become accustomed to, and Brian Pena had a 3-run home run, the 3rd of the 3 in the 14th inning Friday, getting a start today. Former Ranger Matt Trainer and Jeff Francoeur both getting a rest. As Blanco slices that one down the right field line and foul. Andres making his 6th start at shortstop this year, and Rangers have done quite well with him in the lineup at short. They're 4-1. His only home run, his only run batted in against this Kansas City team. They were his original club. They signed him back in 2000. He was with them through 2006. Good breaking ball from Duffy there, and it's 0-2.
Well, when Elvis doesn't play, you certainly don't feel naked at shortstop with Blanco playing shortstop. He's a very good defensive player himself, and that's what you want when you replace your catcher, when you replace your shortstop, by giving them a day off. You want a catcher or a shortstop who can play defense. And so when Elvis does get a day off, Blanco's the man. And he'll surprise you every now and then with his offense, but he's out there to play shortstop and play defense, and he can do that.
And also slicing back out of play. Blanco's home run this year, April 23rd, the 2nd of the 3 games that the Rangers swept from Kansas City here at the ballpark. Elvis resting in the midst of a bad week for him offensively. Just 174 he's hitting over his last 5 games, 4 for his last 23. So Blanco gets an opportunity on a Sunday afternoon and chops this one to the Royals shortstop. Outstanding young Alcides Escobar throws Andres out. 2 quick outs for Duffy, and now he gets to face Josh Hamilton. A challenge he did not have to meet last week, with Josh still in rehab mode. 5 games back, he is 8 for 23 this week, a .348 average, 2 hits including a double last night. Josh this year, having played only 16 games, but has held hitless in only 2 of those 16. And no real difference pre and post injury that anybody can see with the Rangers. Rangers coming off a 10-1 win in which they jumped on Kansas City very early last night. 6 runs in the first 3 innings, a 5-home run attack. That one just off the plate, 2-1.
You can tell when the catcher wants a pitch, he'll hold the glove as if to say, get a good look at it. I think it's a strike, and he tries to show that to the umpire. Didn't work that time.
Hamilton fishing there, and it's 2-2.
A good hard slider right there from Duffy.
Barely fair, and right to Hosmer, who will handle it unassisted. And both teams go in order in the first inning. 0-0.
Yeah, Nolan suggests it instead of mowing. Sure saves on fuel.
Makes sense.
Saves on fertilizer too, looks like. Yeah. Hey, y'all, get that shovel.
June 6th against the Tigers, all fans get a free Rangers yearbook.
As we begin the second inning, time to welcome Jim Knox.
All right, thanks, Dave. Break out the sunscreen. You guys having a good time? Great day for baseball, right? There we go. Loving it. Community Corner today, we're going to talk about the MLS campaign. That's right. Also the ALS campaign as well. Each year, Major League Baseball brings awareness to the ALS through the ALS campaign. Today, they are welcoming the MDA Association ALS division. And for find out more on ALS, please log on to ALS.com, MDA.org. That's ALS.MDA.org. More on the ALS division. Dave?
All right, Knoxie. Billy Butler leads off the Kansas City second. He'll be followed by Wilson Benavides and Mitch Meyer. Ogando needing only 12 pitches in a 1-2-3 first. And Butler in at .293, 2 hits in each of the first 2 games of this 3-game series. Last night he scored the lone Royal run in the 7th inning after reaching on an error. Waves hit that one at 94 miles an hour.
Starts out fastball for a ball, throws a breaking ball for a strike. Comes back with a good fastball and threw it right by him.
And Ogando gets him to fish low at 95 miles an hour, his second strikeout.
Butler does, for a big guy, middle of the order, young, doesn't strike out that much. And I don't remember many times when in one at bat he swung at 2 pitches out of the strike zone like that, one up and away, and then that hard fastball down and away, well out of the strike zone. Just a little bit overmatched by Ogando in that at bat.
So 1 out, and here's the third baseman Benavides. Number 6 hitter in the American League with a .313 average. And Ogando painting the outside corner. Benavides 3 for 10 in the first 2 games of this series. Should be one of the biggest challenges that Ogando has in this lineup. He's hit right-handers very well this year. .325. That is 7th best in the American League. Benavides signed as a minor league free agent last year. Began the season at Omaha. They called him up a year ago this week. And the rest of the year, very reliable contributor for the Royals. And really a standout at the plate. Playing very steady at third base so far this year. 3 balls and a strike.
Ogando's thrown 115 and 116 pitches in his last 2 starts. The only reason in a couple of starts earlier where he didn't have totals like that were because of his blister.
3-2.
That was a big question about Ogando as a short inning guy last season. Would he be able to throw that many pitches to pitch deep into ball games? Basically every question about Ogando he's asked right off the bat dramatically. There hasn't been any question. It hasn't just been okay, or it looks like he will be able to do that. It's right from the start. Yes, he can.
And nice thing about those last couple of starts, blister has not been an issue. Blanco for out number 2.
Came back from a 3-1 count. Another weakly hit ball.
That brings up the right fielder Meyer. Mitch getting his first action of this road trip. Royals came here from Baltimore. And in just 14 games this year, hitting .300. This is 4th starting assignment, his first in a week. He was 2 for 9 in his first 3 starts, and he's been healthy. He's coming off a solid year last year. He just doesn't have a spot with Francoeur manning right field this year. Another ground out and another 1-2-3 inning for Alexi Ogando.
You think you colder than me? Turn on the radio, me. Turn on the TV, me. Turn on the movies, me. So what you got?
Coors Light?
Don't mean nothing.
Ice Cube is cold, but Coors Light is super cold.
Oh, it's on now.
Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
My husband loves to grill. Get him out in the backyard and watch him go. He'll get carried away, though, sometimes. Honey, how many hot dogs did you do this time?
Oh, about 35,000.
We're not going to be able to eat all those. Y'all please come over.
What Ruth means is we're going to need some dollar hot dog nights. Wednesday's good for you? Great. We'll see you at the ballpark. Eat all Nolan can grill for just $1 each.
Bottom of the second, it's Young, Beltre, and Cruz. Michael Young talking in the clubhouse, very animated fashion before the game today, about some of the fallout from the Buster Posey injury earlier this week. And this was Michael sliding into home yesterday, going completely around Matt Trainer, and just enough contact with his hand to get the job done, with no risk of injury whatsoever. Michael talking in specifics about what he looks for when he rounds third base. He looks for any sliver of the plate, and depending on how much is offered, that's going to be his target. And if there is no visible white, that's when he decides you might have to run over the catcher. And in that circumstance, he says he lowers his left or non-throwing shoulder and just tries to barrel him over, but that being the last resort. And he rips that one into the left field corner. First base runner of the game, a leadoff double.
Well, there's been a lot of discussion over the last few days because of the injury to Buster Posey. Maybe one of the more famous ones, as Michael turns that inside fastball around, was the injury that Ray Fosse suffered when Pete Rose ran into him a long time ago in the All-Star game. And it makes sense for a base runner to do what Michael was talking about. You want to avoid a collision if you can. You don't want to risk injury to yourself if there's a way to find home plate, either with a slide head first with your hand like he did, feet first. If you can get underneath the tag, you never want to slide head first into the catcher. I mean, that's just asking for an injury. But if you can slide head first to go around the catcher like Michael did there, that makes a lot of sense. But whether or not baseball could ever legislate change that would avoid the injury to a catcher because of that hard contact, that's probably going to be pretty difficult. I mean, you could say you have to slide feet first. You can't go into the catcher standing up. But I think that'd be pretty difficult to do. Baseball has been played a certain way for a long time. Occasionally changes make sense. Not sure how easy it would be to legislate that, though.
1-1 pitch to Adrian Beltre, foul back, and that was his point. He was saying that really the only reason this is even being discussed is because Buster Posey is such a high-profile catcher. If it was a backup, a career, just kind of a fair to Midland guy, this would not even be up for discussion.
Well, he's probably right. He's probably right. And one thing I've always wished, not wished, but it would have been an entirely different story.
That is trouble if it's fair, just foul by inches.
You know, when Ray Fosse got bowled over by Pete Rose, the throw from the catcher ended up being high, and Ray had to reach straight up in the air, which exposed his whole body to Pete Rose. Now, some people could say Pete Rose could have slid around him. He chose to go in head first, and that's fine. But he went in head first with Ray looking at the ball with his hands over his head. If Ray Fosse had caught that ball a second earlier and had the ball tucked at his waist and was able to anticipate the collision and turned his shoulder to Pete Rose would have been the one carried off the field, and maybe he would have been the one that had his career ended, because Ray Fosse's arms were as big as my waist back then. He just didn't have time to brace himself for the collision. Now, if he did, maybe Pete Rose slides instead of goes in head first. I never felt it was a cheap shot, because that's the way baseball is played, but it would have been a whole different story if Ray had that ball a second earlier.
Well, you're talking about rewriting baseball history if that had been the case.
Yeah, exactly.
1-2 to Beltrade. Again, stays alive. This, if you have not seen it somehow, is what happened to Buster Posey. With torn ankle ligaments, fractured fibula, and last year's prize rookie in the National League now out for the year.
And I couldn't tell where home plate was. You know, whether or not he could have done what Michael said, slide away, reach back with your hand and touch the base. You couldn't tell, so I'm not sure. I really should reserve comment on that play. It's a very aggressive play. It's a violent play. There's no doubt about it. And you do hate to see anyone get hurt, not just the star players, but anybody, because that can seriously affect the rest of your career. It certainly affected the rest of Ray Fosse's career.
And I think what's telling is that other catchers are saying there's no need to even talk about change the risk. Part of baseball. We expect there to be a risk of injury. Not very deep. Alex Gordon for out number 1.
Well, the way the Rangers were pounding the ball last night, I can understand the fans every time the ball goes up in the air wondering if there goes another one.
One out, and here is Nelson Cruz trying to build on what he did in coming just a triple short of the cycle yesterday. And he says after his first at bat, it finally hit him right between the eyes, the adjustment he needed to make. And he makes it sound easier than it has to be, Tom. He says he just wasn't staying on top of the ball. Once he decided to have that as his swing thought, then he was starting to catch it in the middle, and ball started flying everywhere, including out of the park yesterday.
Well, I think with any major league hitter, the adjustment that you have to make is usually a very minor adjustment, and it probably is a relatively simple adjustment for the main fact that if it's something major, you probably wouldn't be able to compete in the big leagues anyway. These guys are guys with great swings, kind of like professional golfers. And occasionally you get into a little bit of a rut because it's one little thing that you're doing wrong. Maybe it's just a thought, a mental part of it that you think when the pitch is coming in. Maybe it's adjusting your hands, your feet just slightly. But I think a lot of times when the player finally reflects on it.
That one's sending Gordon back, but he'll have room in front of the track.
I got in on him just a little bit, but when the player finally reflects on it and realizes all it took, you say, wow, that was just a minor adjustment. Look at Mark Lowe. Mark Lowe went to the minor leagues and just adjusted where he holds his hands in his stretch. Most people, including people that are trained to watch baseball games, wouldn't even notice that. So it was a minor thing and a relatively simple thing, and that was something that worked for him. And for the most part, when a player tweaks his stance or tweaks his approach at the plate, no one even knows. Even his teammates sometimes don't know if it's not anything dramatic. And so, you know, for Nelly, if it was that minor thing, great.
Mike Napoli with 2 outs. Young still at second base after his leadoff double. Mike talking before the game about the hardest collision he has absorbed as a catcher. He says it was Javi Lopez barreling into him. He rolled, actually got his cleat under Mike's front foot, and it wedged in such a way that it rolled his ankle over. Ever since then, he's tried to absorb runners coming into the plate by being on his knees, and that way if they hit him, he just rolls over backwards, but you're not getting your legs twisted and maybe mangled underneath you, a la Buster Posey's experience.
The key for the catcher is to have the ball in time. If you haven't gotten the ball in time, you're at the mercy of the runner, because you have to catch the ball first. And if you're concentrating on that, you're not in position to be able to absorb the blow, because you don't sense how it's coming and what direction it's coming in. You know it's coming, but you can't get ready because you're trying to catch the ball. One of the best collisions I saw was Dave Parker, 6'5", 250 pounds, was coming in to John Stearns. John Stearns was the Met catcher, defensive back in Colorado, and not that big a guy, probably 6'1", maybe 200 pounds, but he had the ball in plenty of time, and he saw Parker coming. He just got down low to the ground, where his head was maybe a foot off the ground, and Parker couldn't get low enough, really. Parker came in head first, tried to bowl him over. Stearns got down around his ankles or his knees, and Parker went flying and actually limped off the field because he had the ball in time to anticipate it and have a plan. But when you don't have time, boy, there's not much you can do as a catcher.
Napoli still alive at 2-2. Mike with a home run and a sacrifice fly yesterday. He had been homerless in his 14 previous starts.
No, there's also times where home plate is clearly open to a slide, and the catcher's on the first base side of home plate, and the runner goes out of his way to bowl over the catcher. To me, that's not a clean play. If you've got, like Michael said to you, Dave, if you've got home plate is open for a slide or a hand, then take it and avoid a collision. But when you go out of your way to have a collision, when the catcher's not even blocking the plate, to me, that's when it becomes a cheap shot. You're just trying to hurt somebody.
Full count, and line toward the gap, in there, in front of the wall in left center field. Young comes home on a Mike Napoli double. 1-0 Rangers.
Ball hung up there for a long time. He didn't really juice it off the good part of the bat, but he's so strong, he still hit it about 375 feet. The only question was, would Cabrera be able to run it down in left center field? He starts over in right center field and can't get to it. It falls in, and Napoli ends up trading places with Michael Young.
No slide necessary there. That's the way everybody likes to go home.
That's the ideal way.
Fifth double, 19th run batted in for Napoli. Boy, if his bat starts to come around, even better for the Ranger offense. Torrealba thrown out by the shortstop Escobar, but the Rangers get the first run on a leadoff double and a 2-out double.
Could switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance? Do people use smartphones to do dumb things?
Send, that is the weekend.
Will allow me to crack the bubbly.
Don't mind if I do.
There's a gentleman with a bro stash invited to this party.
Only if he's ready to rock.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Rangers, Rays, tomorrow at 5 on Fox Sports Southwest.
Ogando, a 1-0 lead as he takes the mound for the third, and we welcome Emily Jones.
Guys, 5 home runs for the Rangers last night. Endy Chavez a part of the home run party. It had been almost 2 years to the day since Endy had gone yard. He says he feels like everything is coming together.
I started thinking more about the game situation and not worry about my knee. So I think that's made me play the game like I used to play, and I feel the same thing. And I think right now helped me like more mature. I have more idea what I want to do on the play than the past year. So I think that helps, and the team is going great.
Endy Chavez with this afternoon's Geico quote of the game. And guys, he's come a long way. He said 2 years ago he didn't know if he'd ever make it back. It's nice to see him not only back but performing well.
Boy, it sure is. He's hit the ball as consistently hard, maybe as anybody in the Ranger lineup when he's been in the lineup. Working around a hamstring issue. Brian Pena used as a defensive replacement in the 11th inning Friday and contributed the biggest blast of the 3 14th inning home runs, a 3-run shot. Both his home runs this year have come against Ranger pitching. His other one was a game tying 3-run home run here on April 22nd. That one off Derek Holland. Made it 5-5. Rangers ended up winning 11-6. 2-2. Pena then gets an Escobar here in the third. Sky high and sending Cruz back onto the warning track. Up against the wall. He finally sees that one come down.
He just missed that ball. That was almost an upper deck shot. Got a hold of a curveball. Fortunately, he popped it up. That one stays up inside part of the plate. Stayed in the park, though.
Almost Pena's third home run against the Rangers. Chris Getz hasn't homered against anybody this year. 12 RBIs and a .234 average. 0 for 5 Friday, the only Royal without a hit in that game. He did have a walk and he did score a run, and he was off game 2 yesterday. Former 4th-round pick by the White Sox out of the University of Michigan. 2-time All Big Ten there and a 2nd-team All-America.
Well, Getz is a guy that could potentially be a leadoff hitter for Kansas City. He's just got to hit for a little more of an average. But he has a good eye at the plate. He'll take a walk. And he can run.
Thrown out by Blanco. Hitting the road, take the Rangers with you this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv today and see every Rangers game live or on demand on your computer and your favorite devices. Visit TexasRangers.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv. Baseball everywhere. 8 up and 8 down so far for the Royals. And Alcides Escobar steps in 2 for 8 in the first 2 games of the series at .222 average. And like Getz, no homers, 12 runs batted in. Offense not necessarily what they are looking for out of Alcides Escobar. He has been spectacular defensively, arguably they say the best shortstop in baseball. They've got some numbers to back him up on that claim.
Yeah, I don't know from what we've seen if he's the best, but he's certainly starting to enter into the group that's considered the best. He's made all the plays. Great arm in the hole.
And the first base hit, first base runner against Ogando.
Yeah, he got an 0-2 fastball up and out over the plate. He's just trying to apply a little pepper right there. Just try to put the ball in play. Nothing fancy. But not a terrible pitch. It's a little bit outside. It's high. Not as low as he wanted it, but nice job by Escobar.
Back to the top of the order. Alex Gordon struck out on 3 pitches. He goes right after the first pitch here.
Ogando so far in the game has been able to get his fastball in on the left-hand hitters. There's been some weakly hit balls. Hosmer smashed his bat. A couple of the ground balls were hit off the handle as well. Definitely trying to keep it right in there too. The home run that Gordon hit off Felice was about a belt-high fastball on the outside part of the plate where he could extend his hands. And it doesn't look like Ogando wants to give him a fastball out over the plate because every one he's thrown has been pounding him inside with it. Going away with this pitch, it looks like.
Escobar over there with 2 outs. He is 5 for 9 in the stolen base department so far this year. It's an area in which you would expect him to become a pretty good weapon. Once he's around, learns the pitchers. Back out of play again. Look at our Ford leaderboard. And these are the top 2 base stealing clubs in the American League, along with the Toronto Blue Jays, tied for second with the Rangers. From here, the Rangers go to Tampa. 3 at the Trop, and then on to Cleveland. A very challenging week ahead for the Rangers. Tampa Bay starting play today, just 2 games behind Boston in the East. Cleveland 6.5 up on Detroit, 9 up on these Royals in the Central. They have had the best record in baseball almost all year. They have just been passed by Philadelphia with a 4-game winning streak going. The Phillies have surpassed Cleveland by a few percentage points at 14 games over at 500. The Indians 13 over at 31-18. Good time for the Rangers to be getting healthy and getting some pieces performing again, like Cruz, Kinsler, some of the others we've covered. Because the American League West is bunched within 1.5 games. All 4 clubs. Rangers start today a half game up on Seattle, 1 over the Angels, 1.5 over the A's. Kinsler handles the sharp 1 hopper, throws out Gordon. Royals finally get a hit off of Ogando, still scoreless. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Geico Insurance, where 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. By AT&T. And introducing the Hyundai Assurance Trade and Value Guarantee. See your Hyundai dealer for details. Craig Gentry leading off the Ranger third, followed by the top of the order Kinsler and Blanco. 1-0 Texas on a pair of doubles in the second inning by Young and Napoli. Craig hitting .206, 2 runs batted in. He had yesterday off and sends that one into Gordon's glove on a full layout headed toward the corner. Gentry robbed of extra bases, first out of the Ranger third.
Oh, that's too bad. Craig hit that ball right on the button. It looked like it was a double off the bat, turned the fastball around. And just a beautiful play by Gordon, stretched as far as he can go. If he doesn't quite get to that ball, depending on how quickly he can get up, it's obviously at least a double. And with Gentry's speed, he's got an outside chance of turning it into a triple. Just an outstanding play by Gordon in left field. Gordon came up as a third baseman out of University of Nebraska. Gravitated out to left field. Looks like he's been there his whole career.
Yeah, it seems like he's found his home there and at the leadoff spot. After struggling as the second overall pick out of Nebraska, 2005 draft. 1-1 to Kinsler, grounded to second his first trip. He has a hit in all 5 games so far on the homestand. Rangers going for their second straight series victory, taking the rubber game against the White Sox, 2 out of 3 in that series. Ian thought that was a little inside. Perfectly spotted, actually. It's 2-2.
Ian stands pretty close to the plate.
Hit well, left field. Gordon back.
Since Ian moved to the leadoff spot, since Josh came back on Monday, he's hit at least 5, maybe 6 line shots to left field. 2 of them have been home runs. And his bat looks quicker. He's hitting the ball just right out in front of the plate. He's avoiding lifting the ball way up in the air to left field. He's leveled things off, and the ball's just jumping off his bat right now, which is a beautiful thing.
He looks like Ian Kinsler.
Yes, he does.
Finally. Not sure who has been out there good part of this season. 7th home run, 20th run batted in, and a 2-0 lead. Now Blanco grounded to short his first time up.
When players have a track record over the years and they're in great shape and they're healthy and they're working hard, just a matter of time before they come around. You don't all of a sudden forget how to play or lose your talent. But no matter who you are, you go through stretches where you don't look like yourself. Sometimes they last a week. Sometimes they can last longer than that. Look at Albert Pujols. Albert Pujols is not looking like Albert Pujols the first part of the season this year. But eventually they come out of it. And whether it's Ian appearing to come out of it this week, Nelly Cruz with a big game yesterday, just a matter of time. And all it takes is patience. That's why every time a manager is asked, are you going to play Nelly Cruz today? The answer is, of course I'm going to play him. He's one of my best players, and I don't want to not have him in there on the day when he's going to go 3 for 4 for me.
Tough play for Getz, just in time to beat Blanco. Ron Washington will make a case to Jeff Nelson.
Yeah, in this particular case, he's going to stick up for his player, try to make his case, but I don't think he's going to have much success.
Usually when Wash goes out there, he's trying to find out exactly what it was the umpire saw or heard. In many instances, you're listening to hear the foot hit and the ball hit the glove, and definitely looks like from all angles Nelson got this call right.
Well, no one had a better look at it than he did. He was in perfect position, staring right at the bag. And like you say, a lot of times the sound of the ball hitting the glove is what the umpire goes by as he looks to see when the foot hits the bag. And we can replay that 4 or 5 times in slow motion replay that, or any play like it, and eventually come up with what looks like the right call. But the umpire doesn't have that luxury. He's got to make it as it happens.
Hamilton twice now has grounded out to Hosmer unassisted. The Rangers get another run on another Ian Kinsler home run. And through 3, the Rangers leading the rubber game of this 3-game series 2-0.
Fox Sports Southwest goes on the road with the Rangers. Texas battles Tampa for the first time since last year's thrilling playoff series. And the surprising Rays are contending again in the East tomorrow at 5 on Fox Sports Southwest. Join us every week for a behind-the-scenes look at Texas Rangers baseball as our team works all the angles to give you a unique perspective and in-depth analysis you won't get anywhere else. Rangers Insider, Friday at 6 on Fox Sports Southwest.
Ever notice when Texans get the hankering for something hot, fresh, and delicious, they end up at DQ? It's because only DQ has the best tasting burgers, baskets, sandwiches, and salads in the state. From 100% pure American beef and all-white chicken to fresh veggies and all your favorite toppings. No matter what you order at DQ, you know it's gonna be great. DQ just tastes better.
DQ, that's what I like about Texas.
When Ron Washington goes to Arizona to manage in the All-Star game, he'll take some things to remind him of Texas. His T-shirt from Vista the Space Center, his stuffed armadillo, the hat Nolan gave him.
It'll be nice to take a bunch of Texas Rangers, too.
Help Wash take the Lone Star State to the All-Star game. Vote Texas, vote Rangers by voting online at texasrangers.com/allstar.
How am I going to get these through airport security?
Hey, baseball fans, Chevy is proud to support youth baseball leagues in your local community. If you would like to learn more about Chevy youth baseball programs, go to youthsportswired.com. And let's check in again with Jim Knox.
Okay, thank you very much, Dave. I'm with Mark Harlan. He's with Chevrolet, and you're just talking about Chevrolet. And Chevrolet, a big part of youth baseball, especially today. I mean, 3 things already going on here at the ballpark.
Sundays are big for Chevrolet because not only do we celebrate our youth league kids, bring out the dealers that sponsor youth leagues, we had the kids on the field every Sunday, so 9 kids get to go out and be with their heroes right at the kickoff of the game. Of course, we got the smash ball coming up later. So fun day, great partnership for Chevrolet.
Excellent. Okay, real quick, what's new at Chevrolet?
You know, we got both extremes right now. We got the Camaro convertible that's just out, perfect for this kind of weather. On the other extreme, the Volt. That's the electric, extended range electric vehicle. Goes 40, 50 miles without using a drop of gasoline. So good for the summer drive.
There we go. Mark, great to see you. How about Chevrolet and youth baseball, huh, guys? Huh? There we go. Loving it up here. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Dave.
All right, Melky Cabrera, ball and a strike. Ogando also to face Hosmer and Butler here in the 4th inning, and a looper is going to fall in front of Josh Hamilton, and the Royals have their second base hit off of Ogando.
First baseman Eric Hosmer.
A 2-out single in the 3rd by Escobar for their first base runner.
Yep, not much you can do about that. Make a decent pitch, not hit very hard, but it finds a hole.
Both their hits have been on pitches pretty well placed, it looked like, where Ogando was aiming.
Yep, and big league hitters, occasionally they'll spoil what you think is a pretty good pitch. But another ball right in on the fist, jammed Hosmer. Second time they've got the ball in on him.
Napoli squeezes it. Hosmer 0 for 2.
You know, most tall hitters with long arms, like Hosmer, like to extend their arms. When you pound them in like that, it makes it much more difficult. And that's the second straight time that Hosmer's hit the ball off the handle. Good pitch right there by Ogando.
So 1 out. Here's Billy Butler. He struck out his first time up. Rangers at double play depth. Butler has hit into 5 double plays so far this year, second most among all the Royals. Another first-round draft pick. Kansas City seeing the fruits of several of their recent drafts in this lineup. High draft picks like Gordon, 2nd overall, 05. Hosmer, 3rd overall in 08. Butler, the 14th pick in 04.
And they'll have another high one this year, too.
They will keep loading up to what a lot of people feel is the best stockpile of young talent in baseball. Mitch Meyer, another former first-round draft pick, 03. So 6, 7, 8 years down the line, that's what Ned Yost is able to write into his lineup on an everyday basis. Royals had a great start this year. They've fallen off to 23 and 28. They've lost 6 of their last 7. And a young team going through some predictable growing pains. They knew coming out of camp that their big challenge would be the rotation. And they haven't seen anything so far the first third of the season, I don't think, to make them change their opinion about that. They figured offense would be right from the get-go the thing that this team would be built around. And offensively, they are number 3 in the American League in batting average. Close tabs on Cabrera over at first. Royals are 6th in the American League in scoring. First in doubles and triples. Playing at a park that was made for doubles and triples, Kauffman Stadium. 3-1 pitch, foul back, and now a full count for Butler with Wilson Benamed on deck. Cabrera going that time, still 3-2. That Yost team lately dealing with a little bit of a downward trend offensively. And he's been asked about shaking up his lineup. He has pretty much the same philosophy about the lineup as Ron Washington does. Says the best way out of a team-wide slump is to resist change for change's sake. Guys like to come to the park knowing what their role is going to be. Hot shot. Beltre fights it to a draw. Can't make a throw. Everybody's safe. Cabrera up to second base. And let's check in with Emily Jones.
Well, guys, you were talking about Alexi Ogando and that blister, and we've talked about the home remedy that Nolan Ryan gave him, which was the combination of pickle juice and iodine. Well, apparently there's a Latin home remedy for blisters as well, and it involves wrapping garlic in a cloth and then taping that to the blister and then sleeping with it overnight, and it's supposed to help harden the blister so it won't have an effect on Alexi. It seems to be working out quite nicely thus far. That information comes to me via Brian Dolgan. I told him I'd give him props because he did the pregame interview for the radio side of our broadcast with Alexi Ogando yesterday. Gentlemen.
Good solid information there. Whatever it is, lately it is working because Alexi says last couple of times out he has had no problems and able to go all 9 innings last time out. That's easily the best test yet. 5 hitting the White Sox on Monday.
The ball hit to Beltre is going to go as a base hit. It was not an easy chance. It was a fairly hard hit ball. Took a high hop up on Beltre. Almost came up with it. Wasn't going to get a double play because the runner was running. Would have had an easy play at first. Official scorekeeper ruled it a base hit. He's in front of it, ready to catch it. Ball just comes up on him, hits him in the chest. If he could have caught it right there, he probably would have had Butler. Just couldn't come up with it. Beltre had a ball last night, didn't go as an error, but a ball that went off his glove would have been a double play. Got the man at first base, wasn't an error. Then later in the game he did make an error. He's been so good at third base, every time a ball is hit there you just assume it's going to be an out.
Yeah, and when there's a spectacular play required, he's already kind of spoiled us in that regard too. Specializes in the bare hand off balance pick and throw. It's now even at 3 apiece. 2 on with 1 out. 1-2 pitch is way up high at 95. 2-2. Ogando needing only 12 pitches in each of the first 2 innings. 3 up and 3 down. 17 pitch third with Escobar singling with 2 outs. 15 pitches already so far here in the 4th with only 1 Royal retired. Really slowing down what was a rapid pace. Hamilton started at a different angle than that ball required. It went deeper than he thought, over his head, and Cabrera comes home for the first Kansas City run.
Oh, the good news is it's only a single. That ball was really hit hard by Betemit. And for any outfielder, that line drive hit like this directly over your head, that's a tough play. Up and away, good job by Betemit though. Josh couldn't quite get to it.
Still came pretty close. First angle he took was more of a lateral one, and then once he realized where that was headed, didn't quite have enough time to go deep enough. Mitch Meyer now strike 1. He grounded to short his first time up. So 2-1, tying run now in scoring position. Butler. Go ahead run Betemit at first. In there for strike 2.
Now the first 2 hits of the inning were not exactly hard hit balls. A little blooper to left and a ground ball to third. The base hit by Betemit though, that was hard hit. That and the ball Gordon hit to second base, probably the hardest hit ball so far for the Royals. And
that is trouble. Cruz's throw into second base. Butler scores. Betemit to third. Meyer has tied the game at 2 apiece with his 3rd run batted into the season.
This inning is a little reminiscent of the first inning of the first game, where the Royals dinked and blooped balls in for several runs early. Another little jam shot blooper to right field. So 3 soft hits have tied this ball game.
So Mike Maddox is out for a chat. Ogando's consecutive scoreless inning streak has come to an end at 17. 14 consecutive coming in. And scoreless for the first 3, but 2 runs, 2 on, still only 1 out here in the 4th. 1 week from tomorrow, the Rangers host the Tigers in a weekday set at Rangers Ballpark. Celebrate the beginning of summer by bringing the kids and paying the day through next Sunday while supplies last. Upper level tickets are only $6 for June 6th, $7 for June 7th, and $8 for June 8th. All at TexasRangers.com/summer. Ogando working out of Brian Pena, who flied to right his first time up. Five batters he's faced here in the 4th. 4 have singled. 3 were very soft singles, but they have done the job. And that one is headed deep to right field. Cruz looks up. It is in the upper deck. Brian Pena has his 3rd 3-run home run of the year, and they have all come against Ranger pitching.
He almost hit a curveball out of the park the first time up, just got underneath it, and that was a belt-high changeup, the second one he'd seen in that at bat, and he was right on it. Waited on it. It was in a bad location, right down the middle of the plate, without much on it. Kind of a dramatic turnaround after the first 3 innings. All that Ogando had given up was a soft single to right field by Escobar. Retired 9 out of 10. The 4th inning hasn't gone as well.
Well, that's the 7th home run he has allowed. And all but 5 runs against him this year have come via the home run. Getz grounds out to Kinsler, out number 2. So Ogando's now allowed 17 runs, and 12 of the 17th have come on home runs. And what sense do you make of Brian Pena? Against the rest of baseball, he has no home runs and 3 runs batted in, and he's a terror against the Rangers.
It's just one of those quirks. In that particular at bat, he comes up with a couple of men on, and he just got a belt-high changeup right down the middle of the plate. Ogando makes a good pitch. He doesn't hit a home run. He just happened to get that pitch in that particular at bat. Other night, same thing. Just got a pitch out over the plate, right to his liking.
This one estimated at 403 feet. Up several rows into the upper porch out there.
Now, if he throws the changeup down a little bit below the knees where he's wanting to throw it, maybe gets a ground ball and a double play.
.93-mile-an-hour fastball for strike 2. That on the 26th pitch of the inning. 2-2. Escobar, the 8th batter to face Ogando here in the 4th. So the Royals have really had nothing but 4 big innings in this series. They had a 3-run first, a 3-run second Friday, the 5-run 14th, and a 5-run 4th here this afternoon. Escobar flies out to Hamilton. 5 runs, 5 hits, another 3-run blast by Brian Pena, the story.
We're taking you beyond the game. FoxSportsSouthwest.com.
Well, Rangers now a 3-run deficit to take care of into the bottom of the 4th. Young, Beltre, and Cruz to face Danny Duffy as we ask our AT&T trivia question. What is the longest game ever played between the Royals and the Rangers? Don't think it was Friday night, the 14-inning affair, but we'll find out. What was? Young scoring the first Ranger run after a leadoff double in the second, and he sends that one toward the gap. Cabrera makes the running catch, bangs up against the wall.
Well, as they say, the cliche, baseball is a game of inches. And look at the ball that Betemit hit just over the outstretched reach of Josh Hamilton. And then you look at Gentry's ball that Gordon made a great play on, and now Michael Young's bid for an extra base hit into the gap in left center field. Nice play by Cabrera. He got a good jump and made a really nice play. Helps that he had his glove on his right hand reaching for that ball too.
Curve for strike one to Beltre. He flied out to Gordon in left his first trip. Strike two. Well, that Kansas City fourth really quieting down a near capacity house here. Looks like an excellent walk-up crowd, expected to be around 40,000. Looks like maybe a few thousand more than that. Another hard hit shot right at Betemit. Boy, they are falling in for the Royals, Tom, and they sure are not for the Rangers.
That's pretty much the name of the game so far. You look at the last inning. Cabrera, a little blooper. Butler, a ground ball to third base. Meyer had a blooper to right. And you look at the Rangers' fourth inning. Line shot to the gap. Line shot to third. But that's, as they say, the way it goes in baseball.
Ball one to Cruz, who also flied to left his first time up. Last night it was Nelson with the 3-run blast. In the 6th inning, completed the Rangers scoring. Put them up 10-0. Cruz ending an 0 for 15 yesterday with the first of those 3 hits. Friday 0 for 7 with 3 strikeouts, the only hitless Ranger starter. 2 balls and 2 strikes. It's the 8th and final game this year between the Rangers and Kansas City. Rangers have already clinched the season series, winning 5 of the first 7. And Duffy comes back with a shutdown inning, 1-2-3, and his first strikeout.
Horses don't have horns. Yeah, I'm telling you they do. No, bulls have horns. Horses don't. I swear. Look, there goes one. Okay, so technically antlers, but you're right.
Sundays at Rangers Ballpark are made for kids, including dollar ice cream and great kids giveaways.
Ballpark, Texas trailing Kansas City 5-2. Dave, as you mentioned earlier, it is dog day here at the ballpark. Over 500 dogs, just 2 of the biggest one, Great Danes. How much does she weigh?
She weighs 140 pounds.
140. This dog's named Ranger, correct?
Yes.
Ranger. We got one in a little tutu, and her name is?
Lily.
Lily. And they also named her Murphy, Murph dog today after David Murphy, correct? Very nice. So dog day, and these dogs are having a pretty good time. A little tired, but a good time, right?
Right.
There we go.
All right. Dog day, big draw along with the Rangers in Kansas City. On a warm, cloudless Sunday afternoon, the Royals suddenly enjoying themselves a lot more than the Rangers are as Alex Gordon leads off the 5th inning 0 for 2. The 5-run 4th inning for the Royals. More runs than Alexi Ogando had allowed in his 4 previous starts in the month of May. coming off the complete game shutout of Chicago, and then at Kansas City, 2 runs, 7 innings, 1 run apiece. At Seattle in 6 innings, and against the Angels in 6 1/3. The only other game in which he had allowed 5 runs was his 3rd start of the year at Yankee Stadium. Home runs were the issue that night. In 6 1/3, he allowed 6 hits and the 5 runs. Gentry back near the track. And Gordon is 0 for 3. Let's answer our AT&T trivia question. The longest game ever played between the Royals and the Rangers. It was not Friday night. It was June 6, 1991. 6 hours, 28 minutes in 18 innings. Steve Busby,
yes,
were
I
you
was.
around for
Thank
that?
you.
Yes.
Jim Sundberg and I sat through all 18 innings and 6 hours plus.
Is that the one Kenny Rogers threw the ball down the left field line on like trying to get a force out at third base on a bunt?
I think it was.
That ended that game?
I think it was. It was in Kansas City, I remember, on a Sunday afternoon. Sunday afternoon and evening and night and the whole thing. Yeah.
Probably took a few years before you could talk about it this
easily.
Before
I could talk, period. Yeah.
Well, what happened to Alexi Ogando in that inning?
You know, the balls weren't exactly blistered against him, and I think the big turning point to me was the play that Beltre couldn't make, a very difficult play. But that allowed Ogando to get deeper into his pitch count in that inning, and I think Alexi got to the point where he had just thrown too many pitches in the inning and made a mistake to Pena, and he hit it out of the ballpark.
Yeah, if somehow Beltre could have come up with that bad hop with Butler hitting the ball, it's a double play.
Yeah.
He's out of the inning, and he's got one over the limit after 4 innings.
Yeah, he ended up throwing 28. 4 more pitches than he threw in the first 2 innings combined.
Yeah, and I think, Dave, that's pretty typical of what happens in big innings. Pitchers get into their pitch count more, end up throwing 15, 17, 18. All of a sudden, it breaks loose. You don't make the quality pitches that you're able to earlier.
But part of the learning process of becoming a starting pitcher is how to deal with innings like that and how to put them aside and come back out and try and pick up where you left off, right?
Well, yeah. In Alexi's case, coming out for this inning, he gets that strikeout. But there's no way to deal with having to throw 28 or 30 pitches in an inning because you get tired. That number of pitches in an inning takes a lot more out of you than if you throw 30 pitches spread out over a couple innings or 3 innings. And there's not much you can do to compensate for when things start going badly and you cannot get the ball where you want to and you end up throwing a lot of pitches.
It looks like Ogando's had pretty good command of his fastball. It's his breaking ball that he really hasn't been able to throw. He just struck out Cabrera on one, but most of his sliders have been down and out of the strike zone.
Well, his ERA has jumped by a half run. It was 181 coming in, same as his opponent batting average. That's just remarkable. That was also 181, and it's now 238. So you see that 4th inning looks like a misprint the way the others have gone. Not just today, but pretty much all season for Ogando. That is a foul ball. What about Danny Duffy? What are your impressions of him making his 3rd major league start?
Yeah, it's certainly a lot better than what we saw from Danny Duffy in his major league debut against the Rangers. Much more in control of himself, and I think the Rangers have a better idea of what they want to do, but Duffy is executing his game plan a lot better, so it makes it difficult for the hitters. A young pitcher like this, with the stuff he has, when he's able to throw his breaking ball and his changeup in the strike zone, he can really be tough.
And right when I get done saying he hasn't had much success with his breaking ball, he strikes out a batter and gets a pop-up with it. So much better that inning.
Ogando comes back and executes a 1-2-3 fifth. Time for today's Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. 3 of them, as a matter of fact. Back to back to back. Mitch Moreland, Mike Napoli, and Endy Chavez into the upper deck, no less. In the second inning last night. First time in 11 years the Rangers have had 3 consecutive home runs. And Mike Napoli has so far today contributed an RBI double, driving in the first Ranger run. Michael Young, who had led off the second inning with a double. So that was the offensive story. Total of 5 home runs in the 10-1 win last night. And then Matt Harrison continued what is now, Buzz, a scoreless streak of 16 1/3 scoreless innings. Chasing Cabrera back, he looks up, and Napoli goes yard again.
That's one way to keep those line drives from being caught. Just hit them over the fence. Double for an RBI, and now a home run for Napoli. That seems to be coming around pretty nicely for Mike. It's the old hanging curveball right there, Buzz. You ever do that?
Oh, it did not. I still have nightmares about that. Yeah, some of those get popped up, but some of them end up over there too, where those folks have tickets to get in the ballpark.
So 5-3, and Torrealba, who grounded to short his first time up. Napoli had gone 14 games without a homer. Now he's sitting in back-to-back contests, 8 on the year. RBI number 20. And the bottom third of the order again, very productive. Napoli, the number 7 spot in this afternoon's order as they try and come back from a 5-2 deficit against Danny Duffy. But Matt Harrison has been about as streaky a pitcher, I think, as the Rangers have had maybe in recent memory, and his streak right now has reached 16 1/3 scoreless. What has he changed?
Well, what he's been able to do, Dave, is throw the breaking ball in the strike zone early in the count, or when he has been behind in the count, and his changeup. His changeup, he's been able to do that pretty consistently. But when he starts throwing that curveball over first pitch, for example, or when he's behind 1 ball, no strikes, it gives hitters a completely different dimension that they have to be aware of and that they have to react to. And, you know, Matt Harrison's never been short with his fastball. He's got a good fastball. But when his, if you want to call them secondary pitches, are under control for him, he becomes a very complete pitcher.
That's what he was at the beginning of this year. Then a drop off, and he's regained that form his last few starts.
For Harrison, it was his first 4 starts. His ERA was under 2. Then he had 2 bad starts. He pitched around 4 or 5 innings in both of those total in both of those starts. Turning point for Harrison was the 3rd inning of the Yankee game. That was on its way to being the 3rd bad start. He walked some guys, struggled through the first 2 innings, and then came out and shut the Yankees down for the last 4 innings of that game. And then since then, he's been just like he was early in the season. So the bad point for him were those 2 starts, the first couple innings against the Yankees, and then he's right back to where he was. And Buzz, when you've got a kid that came to spring training trying to work on his focus and the mental aspect of the game, don't you think that is as big a thing as anything, coming back from that bad point to get it back in track? That's what he couldn't do before.
I agree with you 100%, Tom. And, you know, I think you get to the point where at least it hastens things if you do. You say, the heck with it. What I'm doing right now is not working at all. I'm going to try something else. I'm going to throw the ball as well as I possibly can, or as hard as I can, or throw in a break, whatever. I'm going to change this and see if it works. I'm at wit's end. And it worked for Matt, and he was able to carry that through and has been able to carry it through.
And he actually says it came down to 1 pitch that turned his season around. It was a 3-0 high fastball that A-Rod hit a little lazy fly ball to center field. He says that told him, wow, A-Rod didn't hit that pitch. Maybe I've got better stuff than I think. And all of a sudden, he realized that he should be more confident in his own stuff than he had been.
Yeah, and a pitch like that, too, Dave, you get behind 3-0 and you throw one and it gets popped up. Say, well, you know, maybe I don't have to be that fine. You know, maybe things are going to start working for me if I just throw the ball around home plate. You take the pressure off yourself, and you become a much better pitcher. But, you know, that's very easy to talk about. And I'm sure people told him in the dugout, in the clubhouse, in the bullpen, working out. Hey,
trust your stuff.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Trust your. Well, that's great. That's great stuff to hear. But trying to make that trip from your ears to your heart's two different things.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Gentry. 1 out. 5-3. Bottom half of the 5th inning. Buzz, the upcoming week to Tampa Bay and Cleveland, what can the Rangers learn about themselves?
Well, Dave, I think first of all, they've got to be able to prove to themselves that they can go away from Rangers Ballpark in Arlington and compete. There have been a lot of times they've gone on the road and really haven't been able to compete against good ball clubs effectively. Now, they've got their lineup back together pretty much. Julio Bourbon, the only one missing. And I think now is the time to go out and kind of unify the ball club and say, look, we're a better ball club than we played on the road. Let's go out there and just play our game and see what happens. Again, saying it and believing it and doing it are horses of a different color.
That is well hit to left field. Gordon looks up. And that one is at the top of the wall. Wow, that looked like Gentry's first home run.
Boy, Gentry has made Gordon a star defensively in this game. He dove and took a double away from him, and he jumps up and possibly takes another double away from him right here.
May want to try to hit the ball the other way today one time, see what happens.
Now let's see if Meyer can do it out in right field. No, Gordon can now.
It was a tough 0 for 2 for Craig Gentry. 2 outs, top of the order again. Kinsler homered his last time up. And a good curve for strike 1.
Duffy's held the Rangers to 3 runs. They've only had 4 hits, but there's been 4 or 5 other balls hit pretty hard. Could have been a different story.
A day made for home runs, but to right center, to right field. Huge jet stream in effect today. As it has been pretty much this entire road trip, or a homestand, I should say. He went around, says Mike Estabrook. Kinsler throws the bat, throws the helmet, and gets thrown out.
I don't think he knows it. He's going out to second base. I don't think he knows he got kicked out.
No, he doesn't have the bad news yet. The Rangers get a run on the leadoff home run by Mike Napoli, and through 5, it's the Royals 5, the Rangers 3. Well, an eventful 5th inning for the Rangers. A home run by Mike Napoli, a near home run by Craig Gentry, pitch that died at the wall, and that check swing ruled by Mike Estabrook to be strike 3. Ian Kinsler had some pointed comments from Mr. Estabrook as he walked away, tossed the bat, tossed the helmet, and got tossed.
Right, it's always a tough call for an umpire. It looked like Ian checked his swing on that particular one. Did not look like he went through the strike zone at all. So he probably had an argument. The thing that got him was when he fired his bat into the ground. That generally will cause an umpire to have a problem, and it did in that particular case, but looked like he checked his swing from the side angle.
So, with no Kinsler, Rangers move Andres Blanco from shortstop to second, and Elvis Andrus' day off is only a half day as it turns off. He will bat in Kinsler's leadoff spot. Billy Butler leading off the 6th inning against Alexi Ogando.
Ogando utilized his slider well in the last inning. Really wasn't a pitch that was working for him early in the game. He was having a hard time throwing it for a strike or near the strike zone. But the first pitch to Butler here in the 6th inning was a good slider that he swung at. There's another good one on the outside corner. So it seems that it's making a reappearance here now.
Butler part of that 4th inning with an infield single. Hard hit in and out of the glove of Beltre at third base. And rolls this one out to the new second baseman, Blanco de Napoli. 6 in a row now retired by Ogando since the big blow of the fourth, the 3-run Pena home run. So Alexi retired the first 8 batters he faced, 9 of the first 10, and then 5 of the first 6 in the fourth reached. 3 on very soft hit singles. Now he settles back in and faces Wilson Betemit for the 3rd time today. Betemit is grounded out and singled in a run, scored a run in the 4th.
Well, Ogando's changeup is a work in progress, and he's thrown some good ones today. The bad one that he threw was the belt high one that Pena hit out of the ballpark. That's the one pitch he'd like to have back.
90th pitch right there for Alexi. 28 of those coming in that 4th inning. He threw only 12 in the first, 12 in the second, 15 in the 5th. Exactly a 2-to-1 ratio, 60 strikes to 30 balls. 61st strike right there. It's a little ironic that Ogando's had such a good nose as a pitcher for the strike zone, as Betemit strikes out, thrown out by Torrealba. And Jim Knox with more of our special guests on Dog Day.
Hi, Dave, outside the ballpark with the world champion Frisbee dog, Petey. Check out the hops on Petey. Gonna bend over. What a go! Way to go, Petey. Cleared everything. All right, Petey. Oh, he also still standing on me, Dave.
Well, Jim's making like that bothers him. That guy's in better shape than everyone in the stadium today, so he doesn't have to worry about that.
Jim Knox will go wherever he has to if there's a story there, won't he?
Yes, he will.
A ball and a strike to Meyer. Rich also an RBI single and scored in the 4th inning. Just outside. Ogando, of course, a converted outfielder. The scouting report on him was that as a hitter, he didn't have a very good feel for the strike zone. He has completely reversed that as a pitcher.
He's completely reversed his breaking ball too in the last 2 innings. He's throwing it at will now for strikes. Not a coincidence that that's helped turned around what happened in the 4th inning.
4 strikeouts today, 47 for the year. He has not walked a batter today. He still has only 14 bases on balls for the year. And he's had a few 3-ball counts, not many. This is just his 4th, as a matter of fact, his 3rd full count of the day. And there is his first walk. Meyer reaches with 2 outs. And that brings up the newest Ranger nemesis, Brian Pena.
I think you can tell that Ogando's feeling better about his slider because he tried to throw it right there, 3-2 to Meyer. Went for the strikeout, and Meyer didn't fish for it.
Pena in the 4th. Did his 3rd home run of the year. They've all been 3-run shots against the Rangers. Against Derek Holland on April 22nd, Dave Bush on Friday, and Alexi Ogando in the 4th inning today. That broke open what was a 2-2 tie. And the Rangers get some action going in their bullpen for the first time today as Ogando throws pitch number 100. See how that pitch to Pena just hung right there, belt high. Ended up in the upper deck. Torrealba framing that one for Estabrook. He says it's low, 3-0. Michael Kirkman, left-hander up in the bullpen. Kirkman just back up from the minors. And the mock cheer for Estabrook as he calls that one a strike.
Yeah, number 3 at the bottom of the strike zone. You see that a lot. Fox tracks shows a strike, umpire calls it a ball, but that's a pretty consistent call.
Pena continues to be a real nemesis as he sends Meyer around to third base. First and third, 2 outs. That brings up Chris Getz.
Well, the thing about Pena's 2 hits in this game, they weren't cheap ones. It was a line shot to center field. Hit that ball hard. But again, it's a pitch right down the middle of the plate. The changeup he hit for a home run was almost the same location as that fastball he just ripped back through the middle. Mike Maddox going to try to coax him through the rest of this 6th inning. 103 pitches right now for Alexi.
Michael Kirkman warming up, just up from AAA Round Rock on Friday for his 2nd stint with the Rangers. Brett Tomko sent down. The idea that he would be stretched out as a starter. Thinking being that if he is needed again, it would probably be more likely that the need would be in the rotation. So Kirkman up again. Ogando has handled Chris Getz on 2 ground balls so far today. Getz 0 for 7 in the series. And that one just inside. That is the area where Getz has excelled this year. Runners in scoring position, a .375 average. Estabrook thinking about that one before raising the right hand.
Yeah, I guess if you're a pitcher, you feel like you want to get one of those 2, that's for sure. Hitter can't argue the point. Tough calls for the umpire right in the borderline part of the strike zone.
Andrus handles some odd spin on that one, and they get Pena for the force at second base. No runs, a hit, and to the bottom of the 6th, 5-3 Kansas City.
No, I'd forgotten how much hard work for cons can be until Nolan had to split that tree up in section 208.
Yeah. It sure is easier to shell them after they're cracked, though.
These make good pie.
Yeah, taste it.
Enjoy a fireworks show set to Sing-Along Classics June 7th.
It's time for our Sonic Slam inning, brought to you by Sonic. Today's jackpot is worth $400 and dinner for 2 at a Sonic drive-in. And today the Rangers are hitting for Hazel Pitts from Bridgeport. If a Ranger hits a grand slam during this inning, Hazel Pitts from Bridgeport will win $25,000. You can register at a participating Sonic restaurant. And in the 6th for the Rangers, Blanco, Hamilton, and Young. Trailing Danny Duffy in his 3rd major league start, 5-3. He's allowed only 4 base hits, 3 of them extra base hits. Solo homers by Kinsler and Napoli. Actually, all 4 extra base hits. The other 2 were doubles by Young and Napoli in the 2nd. Blanco has grounded out twice. That's just the 80th pitch thrown by Duffy. And down toward the corner, Blanco will take the big turn and hold at first base as Gordon gets to it pretty quickly. Here is the first non-extra base hit for the Rangers today.
Well, Rangers going to try to get a little rally going here. Good time to do it. You got the middle of the order coming up. A little bit better curveball. He threw the hanging curveball that Napoli hit out of the ballpark. It stayed up a little higher. That one came down. Just a nice job of hitting by Blanco, who found a hole with that rope to left field.
Now Josh Hamilton, who is twice grounded to the first baseman Hosmer unassisted. This is the 6th game back from the DL for Josh. 8 for 25 so far. Just wide with the breaking ball. 2 balls and no strikes. Hamilton, for whatever reason, has not hit Kansas City pitching well ever. Just a .230 average against the Royals.
Good pitch right there from Duffy. 2-0 count. Pretty confident the hitter's going to be looking for a fastball. For a young kid to be able to throw your breaking ball on the outside corner for a strike, that's an important thing. Usually it's a little bit later in your career that you get confident to do that. Well, that's a good sign for Duffy in that situation to be able to do it. Well, now he's in the same situation. He missed with his fastball, so what do you do here? 3 balls and 1 strike. You come back with the same pitch you threw 2-0, try to throw the breaking ball, or do you try to throw a fastball? Greg Holland warming up in the bullpen for Kansas City. Looks like he's working pretty quickly. A little late in the thank yous here, but we want to thank Russell, Kara, Lindsay, and Leslie Killingsworth from Shamrock, Texas. They sent up some of those flavored crackers. Call them firecrackers. Thank you for the snacks. Turner, Rachel Murphy from Gainesville, Texas. They sent up the Irish cupcakes. Don't take a big bite unless you're ready for some Irish whiskey. So we all were very careful. And
Blanco goes, and the throw in time for a strike him out, throw him out, double play.
Well, a lot of credit to Duffy right there. He's behind 3 balls and 1 strike to Josh Hamilton. You got a man on. You throw a ball, it's 2 men on and nobody out for Michael Young. Instead, you come all the way back and throw the fastball by Josh, and you get the out at second base. 1 pitch, 2 outs. The other thing we had sent up to us today, Dave, is Dee the dog. Last year we had a lot of fun kidding about Kleenex boxes, and probably 8 or 10 people sent us all kinds of Kleenex boxes. And so today, June and Jerry Belter sent up a unique Kleenex box.
Escobar deep in the hole to throw out Michael Young.
That's his best play of the series, and he's made some good ones. That play tells you all you need to know.
The best range of any shortstop in the major leagues to this point in the season.
Watch Rangers live before and after the game on Fox Sports Southwest.
Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Hyundai, introducing the Hyundai Assurance Trade and Value Guarantee. See your Hyundai dealer for details. Dave Barnett with Tom Grieve into the 7th inning. 5-3. The Royals lead the Rangers, and Alexi Ogando is gone after 6 innings. And the worst inning of his now 10-start career. A 5-run 4th inning, and he gives way to Michael Kirkman. Kirkman pitched the 12th inning. 3 batters on Friday nights. Walked Melky Cabrera, got Hosmer to ground out, Francoeur to fly out. You see his numbers inflated by one really horrendous outing very early in the season, just up from AAA Round Rock Friday. And his first relief appearance April 19th against the Angels lasted an inning and 2/3. And he allowed 6 runs, 5 of them earned. That's the Kleenex box.
It
you have
is.
to really look at that before you realize what that is supposed to be.
Yeah, it's very well done by June Belter. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. We had 7 or 8 of those last year, and there were some beauties. And that's right up near the top. And not a coincidence that it's Dog Day at the ballpark. By the way, that Kleenex box, that dog is named Dee Dee, designated dog, according to June. A lot of dogs out here, boy. That's the biggest parade we've ever had before the ball game on Dog Day.
I'm amazed at how well behaved they are.
Yeah, my dogs couldn't line up and be behaved like that.
I mean, they seem to totally get what it is. You know, like they're season ticket holders. You know, this is just what they do. It's just a fun Sunday afternoon. Go sit out at the ballpark.
Trying to keep them cool out there. It's not an easy thing.
Oh, Beltre gobbles that one up. And Escobar victimized by the glove, which he just flashed to Rob Michael Young.
Yeah, you look at the game for Ogando. In the first 3 innings, there was 1 base runner on a base hit. In the last 2 innings, there was a walk and a base hit. 7 hits total. Unfortunately, 5 of them came within 6 batters in the 4th inning. A couple of bloopers, a little ground ball that, with a little luck, could have been a double play. And the 1 bad pitch was the changeup to Pena that he hit out of the ballpark. So for the most part, Ogando was fine. Just that 1 inning.
Handled Alex Gordon at the top of the order all 3 times. Strikeout, ground out, and last time a fly ball. 6 innings, 5 runs on 7 hits, struck out 4, walked only 1. And down at third, Bill Welke says Gordon went around on that one. So now 2 strikes. And Gordon strikes out for the 2nd time today. Emily Jones has some news on the rehab front.
That's right. Those who are headed out to Frisco to catch some Memorial Day baseball tomorrow, in for a treat. Brandon Webb will be starting, and Julio Bourbon will be playing DH. He's going to DH and spend about 6 games with the Rough Riders. As for Brandon, he's scheduled to pitch 3 to 4 innings. They said he's not so much on a pitch count, but more on an inning count, and then they'll reevaluate things with him from there, guys. It's a 4 o'clock first pitch, by the way, just in case you were wondering.
All right. Cabrera, 1 for 3. He started that 4th inning with a soft single. First of their 5 hits. Brandon Webb ready for his first rehab assignment. Tommy Hunter throwing in the bullpen today. They now plan for him to move on out to Arizona, throw some live batting practice. Still trying to get the pulled groin into shape. Julio Bourbon headed to Frisco tomorrow and then to Round Rock for 5 or 6 days of work. They will be in Oklahoma City on Tuesday. Three-1 pitch right down the middle, full up to Cabrera.
Last night, Tateyama threw 3 innings, which helped keep the bullpen fresh. Kirkman might get the same chance today, depending on how he's throwing and how the game goes.
Just outside for ball 4.
We've also got David Bush out there who can give the innings. So 3 of the 7 guys in the Ranger bullpen are guys that can give you multiple innings.
And a good call, ball 4. You know who else is available today? Tateyama. He says he could go today.
Well,
an inning.
After what I've seen the last couple of days from Tim Collins, that doesn't surprise me about anybody. Collins has now thrown 3 straight days, threw 42 pitches 2 days ago. He's 21 years old, came back and threw 27 pitches yesterday. And that's something you don't see in the big leagues very often from even a veteran guy, let alone a 21-year-old. So the fact that Tateyama can do it, good.
He says he could go an inning. Hosmer sends a bouncer out to Blanco. And for Kirkman, only the 2-out walk to Cabrera here in the 7th inning. Stretch time on a Sunday afternoon means God bless America.
And joined with the Kansas City Royals, the Texas Rangers, and all of Major League Baseball as we pause to honor the men and women of our armed services both at home and around the world. Today we invite you to join in singing God Bless America with Devin Crandall.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. Danny Duffy out for the 7th inning to face Beltre, Cruz, and Napoli. His 91st pitch outside to Adrian, who has flied to left and lined to the third baseman Benemit.
Well, Duffy's had 2 major league starts, one against the Rangers, one at Baltimore. He walked 6 in the first one. He walked 3 in the second one. Hasn't walked anybody today. Looks a lot more comfortable. Talked about his minor league statistics, only 10 walks in AAA in 36 innings. He's a good-looking young pitcher. Got a consistent fastball around 93. Got a really good breaking ball. And on a day, it's not that easy to pitch. A day game here against a good lineup with the wind blowing in a way that helps the ball to right center field, but he's hanging right in there. It's one thing to keep your eye on in the later innings. The Rangers have Chavez, Moreland, and Murphy. 3 good left-hand hitters on the bench and a number of right-hand hitters that you might consider pinch hitting for. Ned Yost knows that. That's one of the reasons Everett Tiefert is one of the pitchers warming up, a left-hander. Have to think Tim Collins, their other lefty, is not available today. But I would have said that yesterday, too.
Yeah.
So you never know.
We may well see him. Boy, that bending Beltre at the knees just inside, and it's 3-2. Angels at Minnesota, bottom of the 9th. Twins have scored a run, but they still trail 6-4, facing Angels closer Jordan Walden, the Tarrant County product. Low for ball 4 there. Finally, a walk issued by Danny Duffy. Well, the next Thirsty Tuesday at Rangers Ballpark is June 7th against the Detroit Tigers. You'll enjoy $1 off select draft beer, soft drinks, and water, plus a special weekday edition of postgame fireworks. Reserve your seats for Tuesday postgame fireworks on June 7th by calling 972-RANGERS. 95 pitches will do it today for Danny Duffy as he walks the leadoff man Beltre in the 7th inning. And we'll break for the pitching change. It's the Mavericks and the Heat in the NBA Finals, and Fox Sports Southwest will be there immediately following every Finals game with Mavs Live. 1 hour of highlights, analysis, and live reports from Miami. Fox Sports Southwest, and Mavs Live is your home for complete Mavericks coverage after every finals game. Let's check in with Emily Jones.
Well, guys, as you well know, everyone got behind the Texas Rangers in their run of the World Series last year, including the Dallas Mavericks, and the Rangers returning the favor this year. You could see Mavericks T-shirts all over the Rangers clubhouse today, and they came courtesy of C.J. Wilson.
Well, you know, I mean, a couple of the guys wore Heat jerseys in the other day, and I hate the Heat, like, with a passion. Being from L.A., you know, I grew up a Lakers fan and stuff, but, you know, now that the Mavs are in the finals, you got to pull for them. So they're the local team, just like a lot of people were pulling for us in the World Series last year.
And they ran some good luck and congratulations wishes from the Rangers here on the Jumbotron in the second inning, and the crowd really in favor of that. So everyone behind the Dallas Mavericks and hoping that they beat the Heat, guys.
Yeah, CJ wearing a Dirk Nowitzki number 41 jersey today. Greg Holland working to Nelson Cruz, a ball and a strike. Two and one. Holland in for the fourth time this year. Worked the seventh inning Thursday at Baltimore, 2 scoreless innings. His debut May 19th against the Rangers. Called up earlier that day from AAA Omaha. Cruz sends a little roller out to Bedemeet. Throw just in time for the first out.
That's a great play. Boy, we've seen some good plays by Kansas City in this ball game. Escobar made an incredible play in the hole. This ball by that Bedemeet makes a play, and it's not an easy play. It's a slowly hit ball, but it's still rolling pretty well when Bedemeet bare hands it. So he's got a bare hand, a bouncing ball, get a grip on it, and then make the long throw across the diamond, and he does it to nip Nelly Cruz. That's a beautiful play. We've seen the diving play by Gordon in left field, nice play by Cabrera in center field, another play by Gordon up against the wall in left field. At least 5 really nice plays by Kansas City in the ball game today.
A big test here, though, for Holland in Napoli, who doubled in a run in the second and homered leading off the fifth. Like really seeming to groove his swing this series. Homering for the second straight day. Nothing in 2. On a 1-1 pitch leading off the fifth. That one carried about 2 rows up and just to the right of Greens Hill. Right center field. Napoli also going opposite field for his home run last night. Lays off the breaking ball. Holland in 13 outings for Omaha, 2-0, a 208 earned run average and a couple of saves. Good strikeout pitcher, 27 and 21 and 2/3 innings. And opposing batters hit only 176 against him. He was up for 15 games last year for Kansas City. Did not do particularly well. But Napoli knows he just got fooled for strike 3. Bent his knees, out number 2.
It's pretty obvious what his out pitch is, and that's that hard breaking ball that he's throwing. He's throwing almost every pitch, 84 miles an hour, whether you want to call it a hard curve ball or a slider. It seems to be the pitch he likes to throw the most. The Royals have Everett Tiford warmed up in the bullpen. Ron Washington's going to go with Moreland right here. Let's see what Ned Yost decides to do. Left-hand hitters are 0 for 8 against Everett Tiford. And you'd have to think that he's going to get a chance to see what the ninth hitter does right here. Now, you do have first base open, but it's a 2-run game, so you wouldn't think that they would pitch around Moreland to get to the next hitter, because you've still got David Murphy and Endy Chavez on.
So Ned Yost will make the change. Holland retires the only 2 batters he faces, and the left-hander Tiford makes his way in a 5-3 game in the bottom of the 7th.
Let's hit it, fellas. I heard we got a bunch of vets of Iraq and Afghanistan living the high life in here. Hey, am I in the right section? What's going on, man? Brought my people some hot dogs. They hungry. With this crew, I'm the safest man in this stadium. him. I like that. Let's make some noise for the vets of Iraq and Afghanistan. This is your front line, America. When you turn in your highlight bottle caps and pull tabs, 10 cents is donated to give vets a piece of the highlight, like tickets to a game like this, right, guys? Yeah!
Sunday, a tornado damaged homes and took the lives of many in Joplin, Missouri. One of the best ways you can help in this disaster is to text Red Cross to 90999 to donate $10 to American Red Cross Disaster Relief. That will be much appreciated by those folks. Everett Tieford, slightly built left-hander, 6 feet 165. Just turned 27 2 weeks ago today, out of Alpharetta, Georgia. And another of the 6 rookie pitchers who have made their major league debuts with the Royals this year. On to deal lefty-lefty with the pinch hitter Mitch Moreland, batting for Jorvit Torrealba, who was 0 for 2 with a ground out and a strikeout.
Tieford can be tough on lefties. Just watching him. Comes from kind of a 3/4 delivery, has a hard breaking ball, is a 91-mile-an-hour fastball. So far, left-hand hitters are 0 for 8 against him. There's almost a hanging breaking ball to hit right there. And good numbers to go along with it.
Yet another of the rookie arms, right-hander Aaron Crow, now up out of the Royals bullpen. Ron Washington hoping some power here from Mitch Moreland at a game the Rangers trail by 2. Inside with another breaking ball. Mitch last night homering for the first time since May 9th against Oakland. A span of 13 starts. Tieford again missing with the breaking ball. That is 3-0.
3 curveballs, 3 hangers, all of them out of the strike zone.
Moreland also very hot lately, 8 for his last 14. Gets a 4-pitch walk as the fastball is wide. Craig Gentry steps up with the tying runs aboard. Our Coors Light freeze cam showing how he has been robbed today. First of all, Gordon with the full layout to grab that rocket, saving extra bases, and then going to the wall and leaping to again rob Craig Gentry. A very unlucky 0 for 2 today. So Tieford only needed for that one batter, and he walks Moreland on 4 pitches. Former Fort Worth Cat Aaron Crow, hard-throwing right-hander, will come in to deal with Gentry. And we'll take another break for the pitching change. Back for the key matchup in the 7th. For groups of 20 start at only $10 and offer savings up to 44%. Group pricing is available in 9 different seating areas, including all-you-can-eat seats for all Rangers home games. Book your group at texasrangers.com/groups or call 972-RANGERS. Ron Washington going with the pinch hitter David Murphy here, with Ned Yost bringing in the right-handed Aaron Crow. And Wash now has used all of his bench with the exception of Endy Chavez, who is back available again. So Murphy batting for the hard luck Craig Gentry. Tying runs aboard, and Crow misses outside at 93.
The last time David Murphy pinch hit was the only time this year. It was early in the season against the Red Sox. Got a pinch hit, drove in 2 runs.
His numbers for the season. As a pinch hitter, Murphy is 4 for 24 with 3 runs batted in. Not had a lot of success in this role. Beltre leading off of second, and Murphy able to hold up on that swing. Another fastball outside, 2-1.
A lot of movement on the fastball that Crowe throws. He's got great velocity with it, but it also tails away from left-hand hitters. And obviously, he's got some pretty good numbers. More than a strikeout per inning. Opponents only hitting 187 against him.
A little pop-up foul territory. Who will call it? The third baseman, Bedemeet. And Crowe comes in, does the job in 4 pitches. The Rangers leave the tying runs aboard after 2 walks. And we go to the 8th. It's still 5-3 Kansas City.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rangers Baseball, LLC, and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rangers Baseball, LLC.
Back at the ballpark in Arlington, we head to the 8th. Rangers trail the Royals 5-3. Time for the Progressive fan of the game. It has to be Patrick. That's right. It's his 40th birthday. His wonderful wife, Christy, emailed us, said loving husband, big-time Ranger fan, and her best friend. Happy 40th. Here's the bag. We also pitched in, got you a crate of Bud Lights. Just kidding on that. But happy birthday, Progressive fan of the game, Patrick. Congratulations. There we go, huh? Dave.
All right, out for the 8th inning again, Michael Kirkman, who worked a scoreless 7th, allowing only a walk to Melky Cabrera. And a lot of defensive changes for the Rangers as Billy Butler steps up 1 for 3. One of the changes behind the plate, Mike Napoli is moved from first base. Mitch Moreland stays in the game and replaces Napoli at first. David Murphy stays in the game in left field. Josh Hamilton is moved from left to center. So first time since the injury we see Josh out there in center field as Butler strikes out. 2 strikeouts now out of the bullpen for Kirkman.
95 miles an hour with that fastball from Michael. I've seen him get around 93 before. I don't know that we've seen 95 very often. And against a good hitter, he just threw the fastball right by him. Center of the plate. See you later.
Now Bedemeet. And a good backdoor curve for strike 1.
Well, Michael pitched really well for the Rangers when he came up last year late in the season in a relief role. Went to spring training with an opportunity to make the team as a starting pitcher. Started out in Round Rock as a starting pitcher. I don't think being a reliever right now precludes him from ever being a starter again, but who knows, maybe he's finding a nice niche for himself right now because he's throwing the ball well coming out of the bullpen.
Tom, the Angels have held on and defeated Minnesota 6-5. Angels started today 1 game behind the Rangers. The other results involving the AL West more positive for Texas. Baltimore 4, Oakland 1. The Orioles with a 4-run top half of the 5th inning out west. And the Yankees lead Seattle 7-0 at Safeco Field, a 5-run 3rd inning.
Another good fastball at 94 miles an hour. Yes, Seattle quietly has won 9 out of 10. Some kind of pitching they've got. Another 95 mile an hour fastball. Man, Michael's pumping it in there with some great velocity today. Struck out Gordon on a hard breaking ball through a fastball by Butler. And a breaking ball for strike 3 right there. Wow.
Boy, that is one strong piece of pitching right there. About as good as we've seen Kirkland.
Well, it's a good hard breaking ball that he's throwing after a couple of 94 5-mile-an-hour fastballs. There's no way Bedemeet was ready to hit that curveball. A pretty impressive stint so far for Michael. Looks great.
Struck out 3 of the 6 batters he has faced. And now Mitch Meyer, RBI single and a run in their 5-run 4th inning. It's also grounded out and walked. Kansas City victimizing Alexi Ogando for the worst single inning of his so far spectacular brief career as a starting pitcher. 5 runs on 5 hits. The big blast, a 3-run home run by Brian Pena, the third of those he has hit against the Rangers this year. Royals got more runs in that inning than Ogando had allowed in his first 4 starts combined in the month of May. And that is all they have done today. They have only 2 other base hits. But the Rangers have been limited to single runs in the 2nd, 3rd, and 5th. Danny Duffy, the starter, making just his 3rd major league start. 6+ innings, 3 runs on 5 hits, struck out 4 and walked 1.
Well, the Rangers have more hard hit balls that have been caught than Kansas City has hard hit balls all day long.
Kirkman a little bit low again at 95, and the count is full. One of those days for the Rangers. But they've got a couple more cracks against this Kansas City bullpen. Curve in on the fist and over Blanco, and a very typical hit today for the Royals, isn't it?
Well, they've had a few of those. Unfortunately, they got bunched together in the 4th inning. Isolated here and there, no problem. Well, there were 3 of them in the 5th inning.
So, guess who that brings up? Rangers' old friend Brian Pena, who has done almost nothing to anybody else except Ranger pitching this year. 2 hits today, followed that 3-run homer, which landed 403 feet into the upper deck in right field with a single. Pena with all 3 of his home runs this year, 3-run shots against the Rangers, against Holland, Bush, and today Ogando. So Ogando in line for his first loss. Duffy in line for his first major league victory. In the Ranger 8th, they'll have the top of the order, and that is now Andrews, who replaced the ejected Ian Kinsler in the 6th inning. Blanco and Hamilton. And worth pointing out, probably also about right here, Tom, that the Royals have had closer issues. It has not been a typical year for Joakim Soria. He has blown 3 of the 10 save opportunities he's had so far.
And if this game stays the way it is, we'll see him in the 9th inning, I'm sure. Try to give him 4 for the season.
Meanwhile, Kirkman firing away, 36 pitches, 23 strikes. And that one will end up out of play. Still 1-2 to Pena. From here, the Rangers fly to Tampa Bay, first of the ALDS rematch series. Will feature Derek Holland against Wade Davis tomorrow, 5:40 for the first pitch here on Fox Sports Southwest. Tuesday, C.J. Wilson against Andy Sonnenstein, and then Colby Lewis and David Price. Terrific matchup on Wednesday afternoon. That one at 12:10. All of those games on Fox Sports Southwest. From there, the Rangers on to Cleveland, and they will take on the story of the year so far in the American League, the out of nowhere leaders of the Central Division, the Indians. Just outside, and the 3rd straight full count for Kirkman. He got Benemeat looking. He gave up the bloop single to Meyer. And now Moreland in for a word. Before he gets set to deal to Pena at 3-2.
He's telling Kirkman he's going to play behind the runner. He knows he's running anyway. And maybe you'll be able to cut off a ground ball hit to the right side. And you want to make sure you remind the pitcher so that he doesn't go to first base with nobody there.
Meyer making the most of a rare start today. 2 hits and a walk. And again, Pena stays alive. That time going after a high breaking pitch.
And you might say, why would you let the runner at first base get such a big lead? Well, he can't steal second base. It's either going to be the third out, or he's going to hit the ball, or he's going to walk. Now you give him a little bit of a head start on a double in the gap, maybe. I think the thought by a manager is you'd rather give him a little head start on a double in the gap than hold him on and have a ground ball go right by the first baseman. I feel like he might be able to cut off a base hit right here. He'll try to stay close to him to keep him from getting too big of a lead and then move back.
Cruz backing up as the wind catches it, but Cruz retires Pena, and that's worth noting. This year, no runs on a hit in the Royal League.
Ride to the Rangers game in style. The Fox Sports Southwest Fan Express is heading to a town near you. Check out the road dates by logging on to foxsportssouthwest.com. Rangers, Rays tomorrow at 5 on Fox Sports Southwest.
The Jaguar performance today. Mike Napoli scoring the Rangers' first run with a double that scored Michael Young after his double. And then next time up for the second straight day, Napoli going deep. And he's moved from first base to catcher today. More signs that his bat has started to come around. Directly responsible for 2 of the 3 Ranger runs. Aaron Crow works to Elvis Andrus batting for the first time today, replacing Ian Kinsler at the top of the order. Ian ejected after being called out on strikes in the 5th inning. Andrus, Blanco, and Hamilton here in the 8th. Right back to Crow on one hop.
Another hard hit ball that had a shot of being a base hit.
Let's check in with Rick Renner, what he has coming up on Rangers Live. Rick?
Hey, guys, just want to let you know I hear a lot of rally dogs around me right now, and when we get this big rally, we're going to have a great post-game show afterwards. Steve Busby will join me. We'll have interviews with Emily Jones in the clubhouse and, of course, Jim Knox with the fans. Want to remind everybody we're going to be all over the NBA Finals as the Mavericks travel to Miami and take on the Heat. We're going to have Nancy Lieberman, the Hall of Famer, with Dana Larson in the studios, plus Ro Blackman, Earl K. Snead, Mark Followell, and yours truly in Miami. So when the games are over, switch over to Fox Sports Southwest for all the coverage of the NBA Finals. Guys?
All right, we look forward to that. Here's Blanco, and he sends one to the gap in right center. Will hold it first as Meyer gets back to it. Not much of a throw, but Andres had already decided he better stay put. So Josh Hamilton will bat as the tying run. 1 on, 1 out here in the 8th.
Another good example of why Blanco is such a good guy to have on your bench. Got a line shot base hit to left field, right-handed. Now he pulls one in the gap. Almost an extra base hit, but nevertheless a line shot base hit. It's good defense and a solid bat for a utility guy.
Josh today has twice grounded to first, and last time struck out in a strike him out, throw him out double play. Blanco thrown out trying to steal. Boy, the things catchers have to deal with.
You know, in the old days, the catcher wore his regular hat underneath the mask. For a long time now, catchers have been required to wear a helmet on top of their mask, and that's a great example of why right there. With a soft hat, he gets hit right on top of the head with a bat. With a helmet, same thing happened.
Look out. Well, that thing was airborne long enough that those folks had a chance to get ready for it, to helicopter down.
That's probably the longest bat toss thus far, a third of the way through the season. Way over the dugout.
I'm not sure if I could throw a ball that far.
That's a pretty long-range toss.
That is a really hard-won souvenir.
You know, with the people jammed in there, there's only so far you can move out of the way.
And that bounces behind Pena. By the time he sees it, Blanco is at second. So, a wild pitch has Blanco now in scoring position.
Pretty nice try by Pena. Blocked that breaking ball in the dirt. It bounced so far out in front of him. He can get his body in front of it, but hard to control how it's going to kick off you once it hits you.
Out in Oakland, the A's have matched Baltimore, which had a 4-run top half of the 5th inning. The A's 4 runs in the bottom of the 5th, and they lead the Orioles 5-4. Seattle batting in the bottom of the 5th and still trailing the Yankees 7-0. Seattle with a 3-game winning streak, 9 of the last 10, a half game behind the Rangers. Oakland a game and a half back. The Angels have won today 6-5 at Minnesota. And the Rangers don't come back, get the victory here. The Angels will pull even. So you see the jam-packed picture in the American League West. On the one hand, it's the worst record good enough to lead any of the divisions. On the other hand, it's also by far the closest race from top to bottom.
Yeah, and I guess some people could look at that and say there's not much in the American League West, but nothing could be further from the truth, because the other side of it is those 4 teams have the 4 best starting pitching rotations in the American League. And you can ask any team that's in first place if they'd want to play any of those teams in the postseason, and with the starting pitching all the teams have, the answer would probably be no.
Another ground ball. Tough play. Hosmer to Crow just in time, covering first. Josh is 0 for 4. Blanco with 2 outs is now at third base.
You see why the Royals love Hosmer, not just as a young power hitter, but he's a terrific defensive first baseman. And there are people who think he has the potential to be a Gold Glove type first baseman, and when you see the range and the accuracy with the throw, you can see why right there. That's a beautiful play.
Oh, he's made a couple of plays just these 2 series last week and this week against the Rangers that are definitely Gold Glove caliber.
And he has a right fielder's arm playing first base too, so he's not just at first base because that's the only position he can play. He's playing there because he's so good at it.
2 outs. Michael Young 1 for 3. Double leading off the second. Was doubled home 3 batters later by Napoli. After last night being the only hitless Ranger in the 10-1 win. Aaron Crow drafted high in the first round twice. He was the 9th overall pick in 08 out of the University of Missouri by the Washington Nationals. Didn't want to sign with him. Pitched for the Fort Worth Cats. Royals got him 12th in the first round in 09. And he did sign with Kansas City. But 2 years with the Cats, a 106 earned run average, 17 strikeouts in 17 innings with them in 2009. Well hit to right. Meyer on the track. Gone! Michael Young has tied it up with a 2-run home run.
That's the fastest I've ever seen Michael go around the bases. They just gave a shout out to President Bush when he ran by him. I wonder if he said he was going to do it before he went to bat. Michael sprinted around the bases, and as he came toward the dugout, he gave a little hand sign to the president. Went into the dugout with a rather dramatic 2-run homer.
Now Beltre.
Fastball stayed up. Crow's a sinker ball pitcher, but he got this one up. Beginning to think Meyer was going to make another great play for Kansas City, but that one snuck on out of here.
Just out of the reach of Meyer, just over the wall and right. For the 3rd home run this year for Michael Young. Gobbled up, backhand by Betemit to retire Beltre and end the 8th inning, but the Rangers pull even on the 2-out blast by Michael Young, making the afternoon for Nolan Ryan and the former president.
I'm Brady Tinker. Get the latest on the biggest sports stories in Texas from the best sports writers in the entire country. Fox Sports Southwest makes it happen 2 times a week. Join us for Sports Day on Air, powered by your friends at the Dallas Morning News on Fox Sports Southwest 2 times a week.
Well, it's a tie game into the 9th inning because of Michael Young swinging away at 3-0. Not something we're accustomed to seeing him do. And after the congratulations of his teammates, a little calling card for former President George W. Bush. Almost as if they had discussed that possibility.
Well, it makes you wonder. It's not like Michael to call his shot, but it wouldn't be unlike President Bush to say, let's see you tie this game up. So we'll have to ask Michael after the game if that's what happened. Either that or he's just running by saying, that one's for you, big guy.
Neftali Feliz on for the 9th. Let's check in with Emily.
Well, Tom, the latter is correct. He did not call a shot. I asked President Bush if he in fact did. He said no. Guess it was just a shout out.
Okay, that's good. Thanks, Em, for finding out for us. That's good enough.
Well, Feliz in for the 9th inning in a tie game. And we'll see what he has today. We'll be very interested in the mix of pitches after a stretch of almost nothing but fastballs. He finally started to work breaking balls in after the long home run by Alex Gordon in the 9th inning with 1 out. The first game of this series on Friday, and that's the reason that it ended up going 14 innings. Feliz finally started to go off speed with some breaking balls. Here's a fastball, and that is ripped into the right field corner by Chris Getz, his first hit of the day, and he'll take 3rd. The relay is not in time. Cruz not able to come up with a quick pick and throw out there in the corner, and now Feliz is really up against it. It will go as a double and an error on Nelly.
Well, when Feliz has come into the game in the stretch you're talking about, Dave, where he's throwing mostly fastballs, the one thing he has been doing is he's been throwing hard, anywhere from 95 to 100 miles an hour. In this particular game, the first fastball he threw was 90 miles an hour. The fastball that Getz just hit was 93 miles an hour. So maybe he's choosing to dial it down a little bit, try it that way, but so far it didn't work.
There's a breaking ball. The Rangers play the infield in for Escobar, who singled his first time up, as flied out and victimized by a terrific play last time up by Beltre at 3rd.
You have to be aware of the squeeze play for a guy that's hitting 220. Well, he's thrown 6 pitches. 3 of them have been curveballs. None of them have been a strike yet.
I think that answers the question. Would Feliz carry the same philosophy, mixing the pitches, that he finally went to after that Gordon blast on a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. And Tom, that really drives home the lesson that a major league hitter can really catch up to almost any fastball if he knows it's coming and has a chance to time it.
Well, yeah, that, and if you throw it where it's easy to hit it. You know, if you can still throw a fastball if you make a good pitch with it, but when it's belt high, it really doesn't matter how hard it is. Best fastball he's throwing right now is 93 miles an hour. But a fastball alone will not get you by unless you've got pinpoint location with it. Not many pitchers have that kind of location pitch after pitch.
That was probably high for ball 4. Instead, Murphy in front of the track hauls it in, and Getz will score on a long sacrifice fly. It is 6-5 Royals. Escobar with his 13th run batted in of the year.
And this pitch is only 91 miles an hour. And I think that just shows you that velocity can play a part. If you throw that ball up there 100 miles an hour, he's not going to hit that same ball. So for whatever reason, the fact that maybe you don't have an upper 90s fastball every time out, the velocity is not there today.
Now a rematch of sorts with Gordon. And Alex today 0 for 4. 0 for 7 the last 2 days after an 8-game hitting streak.
If you can throw your fastball like that, you don't have to worry. There's no way Gordon hits that ball out of the ballpark because that was down low and it was tailing away even lower. Ball he hit was up, out over the plate.
Shallow right field. Cruz not battling very much wind that time. Wind may have died down a little bit.
That was a little bit different look right there. That was a changeup. And it got him out in front, hit it off the end of the bat. Just didn't hit that ball very well. That wasn't going to go anywhere anyway.
So 2 fly ball outs. And Melky Cabrera now 1 for 3. Singled to begin their 4th inning of 5 runs on 5 hits against Ogando. He has grounded out, struck out, and walked. I don't think Neftali Feliz is going to be sorry that this does it for the season series this year between the Rangers and Kansas City. Off the glove of Moreland, and another misplay defensively keeps this inning going. And now Feliz will have to face Eric Hosmer.
First baseman Eric Hosmer.
We're just rolling up the arm off the heel of the first baseman's mitt. And now Rangers have trainer Jamie Reed out.
When Blanco goes to recover to try to catch this ball, he stops quickly, and I'm not sure if he fell, twisted his ankle, twisted his knee. You'll see right here as he stops after the ball hits Moreland.
Yeah, right there.
He might have twisted his right ankle a little bit.
Well, Ron Washington and Jamie return to the dugout. And Feliz now gets to face Hosmer, who homered off of him leading off the 9th inning in the first of the 2-game series last week at Kauffman Stadium. That costing Feliz his first blown save, and then the very next night he blew his second.
You know, Ron Washington is not going to let him throw a lot more pitches. In fact, he's probably not going to let him throw any more pitches. You got a left-hand hitter at the plate. You got a left-hand pitcher warmed up in the bullpen. You're down by a run, and that's going to be it for Feliz.
So time for a pitching change as the 41-year-old lefty from Waco comes in, try and get the last out of the 9th inning. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. New Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. By the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. And by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. The fourth Ranger pitcher today is Arthur Rhodes, who comes on to deal with the rookie left-handed slugger Eric Hosmer with 2 outs, a run in, and Cabrera at first after the error charge to Mitch Moreland. 17th outing of the season for Arthur, who since the return of Neftali Feliz has seen his role dial back to more what the Rangers had in mind when they got him. A batter or two, maybe up to an inning. Darren Oliver no longer called on as the interim closer. And the third left-hander brought up, Michael Kirkman, taking even more pressure off of the 2 veteran lefties, the grumpy old men as they call themselves. And the results have been pretty much as hoped, with the Rangers making those moves, with the exception of Feliz, and the Rangers still waiting for him to return to form. In there this 9th inning, just to keep it a 5-5 game and give the Rangers a shot to win it in the 9th inning. He was not able to do that. 1-2 to Hosmer, who's 0 for 4. Has popped up twice, flied out, and grounded out. Two errors in the inning committed by Cruz and Moreland, keeping this inning going, and another pop-up out into shallow right field. Cruz fighting the wind and barely holds on to an ice cream cone catch to retire Hosmer. A little more adventurous than he would have liked that one to be. But he hangs on in the Ranger ninth. Cruz, Napoli, and Moreland.
Jack Link's Beef Jerky presents Messin' with Sasquatch.
Hey there, big guy. You know, you look a little tired. Why don't you come sit down over here? Yeah, come on. That's right, sit down.
Jack Link's Jerky. Feed your wild side.
Last chance time for the Rangers, down 6-5 into the bottom of the ninth inning, as our Brown hand center, great hands of the game, turned in by a number of the Royals. Betamit to Rob Beltre, and Cruz, and Hosmer at first base with a nifty get and toss to Aaron Crow covering. So on for the ninth inning. The Royals embattled closer Joaquin Soria, and he puts that one right up on the chin of Nelly Cruz.
Yeah, that's the danger zone right there. Watch where this ball is. He doesn't move right at the end. It hits him right in the chin. Fans get upset at that, but that's the last thing Soria is trying to do, to come in a one-run game and hit somebody and put a runner on base. That just got away from him a little bit.
Ball two. Soria worked the 14th inning Friday. Allowed one hit, but no runs in a non-save situation. Prior to that, on Tuesday, the Orioles got to him for 3 runs in a come-from-behind 5-3 victory, and he starts off 3-0 now for Cruz.
And one of the problems that Soria has had this year that's never plagued him in his career is he's had a problem with walks. He's walked 10 batters in 20 innings. In his career, he hasn't come close to that kind of rate walking people.
Taking all the way, Cruz looks at a strike down the middle. Soria 7 for 10 this year in save situations. Last year, a career high 43. Made the All-Star team for the second time in 3 years. Hit deep to left field. Gordon on the track. It is gone. Tie game.
Didn't get out by much, but it doesn't have to. Soria hangs a breaking ball right there on the inside part of the plate. Nelly gets under it a little bit. Wasn't a typical Nelly Cruz home run, but it was a big one and it counted.
Just enough over that out-of-town scoreboard. And the dugout springs to life. Now a 6-6 game. The 4th blown save now for Joaquin Soria. And he's behind Napoli 2-0.
Well, Feliz ends up giving up a run. It was an unearned run. Cruz's error in right field allowed Escobar to get to third base. And both closers have come in and given up a run.
And now 3 balls and a strike to Napoli. Another power bat to be followed by a 3rd in a row with Mitch Moreland, the on-deck hitter. That one sliced foul, might have been outside for ball 4. Soria went from April 29th until May 20th without recording a save. Line drive, base hit in front of Gordon. The winning run is aboard with nobody out.
3 hits for Napoli. Continues to swing the bat well. Rangers continue to have something going here as they try to have a walk-off win. Hit it right off the end of the bat, and that's probably the reason it fell in. If he hit it off the good part of the bat, it probably would have carried deep enough so that maybe Gordon has a play on it. As it is, it's kind of a little sinking line drive.
Royals pitching coach Bob McClure as they discuss what to do with Mitch Moreland. Well, there are a lot of people that say you really don't have a problem in baseball until you have a closer problem, and that's about as big a problem as you could ever have. And right now you have to say both these teams have that issue.
Yeah, it's definitely an issue. I kind of liken it to the field goal kicker at the end of a game. Guys, your team plays well for 59 minutes in a football game. The field goal kicker comes in and misses the field goal. Not quite the same thing in baseball, but you work your way to a 1-run lead. If you don't have a dependable closer, that can be a demoralizing thing.
A high strike 1 to Moreland.
But we talk about hitters going through slumps. Starting pitchers can go through bad streaks. Closers can as well. And when you've got a track record like Soria does, you count on him bouncing back. And the same with Feliz. He's going through a little tough spell right now. But you just have to keep going out there and working your way through it.
Moreland came on in the 7th inning, pinch hitting for Yorvi Torrealba, and he walked on 4 pitches thrown by Everett Tieford, the only batter Tieford would face. Aaron Crow came on. Got Murphy pinch hitting. He's the 3rd out of the 7th. 1-2.
Soria's never been a hard thrower. He almost looks like a starting pitcher as a closer. His fastball is usually around 91, but he cuts it a little bit. He's got a little deception, nice smooth delivery. It sneaks in on the hitter a little bit. But he's always had pinpoint command. And that's probably his biggest problem right now, is he doesn't have the pinpoint command with his pitches.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Outfield position very deep. Now where they would be able to cut off a double, they hope. Double might be enough to bring the winning run home from first base. 3-2. With Murphy on deck, Soria has thrown 9 balls, only 7 strikes in his first 16 innings, and everything is up. And a lot of it is way up and away. Oh man, that was probably ball 4. Moreland strikes out. There's the first out of the Ranger night.
Yeah, and the thing that induces the swing right there is the movement on the pitch. That ball, it tails away. You're trying to battle up there. You got a 3-2 count, trying to guard the corners, and then the little extra movement moves it out of the strike zone and keeps you from being able to make contact with it.
Ball 1 outside to Murphy. Murphy fouled out to the third baseman Benameat after Ned Yost brought in Aaron Crow to face him. Double play depth. Royals hoping for a chance to turn 2 and get this into the 10th inning.
If you want to look at the Royals bullpen, I can't imagine Tim Collins is available today, but he might be. But he's pitched 3 straight days. Coleman and Wood have pitched recently. Those are the 3 guys that they have left in their bullpen.
Well, for the time inning, nobody throwing. And the Ranger bullpen also all quiet.
Rhodes came in and threw a 1/3 of an inning, so he'd be fine to go back out there.
That's what Soria's been aiming for, I think. The outside corner. He finally found it there, 2-1.
Yeah, all you had to do is look at watch Pena on this pitch. Watch him. Yeah, right there. That's what I'm looking for. Keep it down on the corner.
There goes the runner. Foul ball.
Yep, and Napoli had that base stolen too. He's got a running lead right there.
Keep in mind, in case there is a play where Napoli's tearing around the base pass, he runs very well for a catcher, which is still what he considers himself to be. He'll play some first base and DH. Full count. The 3rd straight full count. All 4 batters have seen Soria go to 3 balls. Cruz homering on a 3-1 pitch. Just on the corner, and now it's Murphy's time to look back at Mike Estabrook in disbelief.
I don't know if it was a strike or not. He throws him a 3-2 breaking ball aimed for the outside corner. According to Fox Tracks, it might not quite have gotten back to the outside corner. So I think if you're David Murphy, you're a little bit upset with that call, and based on the Fox Tracks, probably have a case.
Well, now in the hands of Elvis to try and win this one in regulation. First time up, he bounced back to the mound. Sends this one past Hosmer down the right field line. Napoli being sent home. The relay is in plenty of time, but he slid under the tag, and the Rangers win it.
Unbelievable. The throw is there in plenty of time. Napoli slides in and gets the call. The umpire said you didn't get the glove down to tag him. Tagged him in the chest. The feet hit the plate, and the Rangers steal a run right there. I didn't think there's any way they were going to wave Napoli. Hosmer has a great arm for a first baseman. Turned and threw. Napoli slid, and he was safe.
One of the most amazing endings of the year for the Rangers.
That's like when Enos Slaughter scored on the single in the World Series.
The mad dash. What does Pena do wrong here?
He never put the glove down. He's even with the plate. He goes to tag him. He doesn't tag him until he touches his armpit. You got to slap the glove down on the plate. The legs are in. That's a great call by Mike Estabrook. You can argue the ball was there. He's got the ball. You got to put the tag on him. Never put the tag on him.
And he left it wide open for Napoli to come sliding in.
There's no doubt he's safe. His feet are already by home plate before Pena. I think Pena thought that Napoli was going to try to bowl him over because he was out by so many feet. Instead, he's bracing for the contact. He never put the tag on him. He could go back and watch that 100 times, and he's never going to come away thinking he got the tag on him.
Well, we talked about this earlier in the game, how to slide in from third base to home. And Mike Napoli just turns in a textbook bit of base running and takes advantage of the lack of execution by the catcher, Brian Pena. What an amazing end to a game. The Rangers win 7-6, and they take the series 2 games out of 3. Rangers Live is next.
Your Texas Rangers win a thriller, make it back-to-back series winners, and beat Kansas City 6 out of the last 8 times. 7-6 the final. And welcome back to Rangers Ballpark. Coming up in just moments, an exciting post-game edition of Rangers Live. We will hear from the star of the day, Mike Napoli, and what he did to get this thing done. Plus, we'll revisit Dave and Tom on this absolute thriller. We got Jim Knox interviewing all the fans behind me, Emily Jones in the clubhouse, that and so much more on a victorious edition of Rangers Live. Join us tomorrow afternoon at 5:30 on Memorial Day on Fox Sports Southwest as the Rangers begin a 7-game roadie with an American League Division playoff rematch against the Tampa Bay Rays. 20 of the next 29 on the road. Coming up next, Rangers Live. And now, our final take. Your Texas Rangers win back-to-back series, 20-8 over the Kansas City Royals at the ballpark since 2005. Thanks to this play, Elvis Andrus with the big hit, Mike Napoli with the great slide, gets in there, and the Rangers walk away with a 7-6 victory. Wow. Welcome into the post-game edition of Rangers Live. We got a lot of exciting post-game reaction to get to on this one. Rick Renner hanging out with Steve Busby, and boy, we knew there were a lot of dogs in the house. We didn't realize there were rally dogs here, did we?
They were on the scoreboard, and they were in the stands and everywhere. And that was the last time that you think Mike Napoli scored from first on a single to win a ball game. What a terrible play by Brian Pena, to be quite honest. No way you could get the ball that early and not block off home plate. He just didn't, and I'm sure Mike Napoli saw that as an open invitation to get the feet in there.
Let's get it up to the guys who called this one, Dave Barnett and Tom Grieve. And gentlemen, that was an interesting ninth inning there, huh?
That's about as mild a word, I think, as you can come up with to describe that ending. Definitely interesting, and it was interesting from the very first batter, Cruz against Soria.
Yeah, and you had mentioned, Dave, that Soria had been struggling as a closer, and right off the bat, that was very evident. He hangs a breaking ball to Nelly Cruz. Nelly Cruz is leading off the ninth inning against an excellent closer in a one-run game. His long fly ball just barely gets out of the ballpark, and that ties the game against Soria. Now with 2 outs, Napoli at first, he's running on the play. The throw comes in from the right fielder to the first baseman, Hosmer. He's got a great arm, makes a good throw, plenty of time. Unfortunately, Pena never puts the glove down, never blocks the plate. Napoli slides in, looked like he was going to be out by 20 feet, but Mike Estabrook with a gutsy call. Easy thing is to say the ball beat him, he's out. He looked at the play and he was safe.
So that salvages an afternoon, which to that point had the bad inning by Alexio Gondo as the top story. But the Rangers end up coming from behind, and they've been victimized, guys, so often in losses in the opponent's final at bat. No doubt it felt a lot better to get a victory in their final at bat. Rick?
Thank you, gentlemen. Really enjoyed this one. Man, just a crazy play. Yep. You talked about him and the awful play by Pena on that one. You know, it's sometimes one of those things happening to Major League Baseball. Buster Posey with the big injury that he had in San Francisco, but that was not textbook by a catcher there at the plate.
Well, no, the deal on Posey was he was off balance when he caught the ball. It was a bang play. This had none of those elements involved in it. Mike Napoli may have had that happen to him in the past. I mean, way past, because once Brian Pena caught the ball, I mean, it's like Tom Graves said, Napoli's out by 20 feet if the tag is applied properly and the plate is blocked. Watch where Napoli is when Pena gets the ball. It's a good 20 feet. But as soon as Napoli saw that Pena did not block off any part of the front of home plate, Napoli just threw the feet down and got in there under the tag. All Pena could do was tag him up around the shoulders, and Mike Estabrook, the home plate umpire, made the correct call. Like Tom said, that is a gutsy call because you're going to get screamed at by the team that's on the field. Their manager is just going to go bonkers. But you look at the replay, there's no question that it was the right call.
Yeah, you look at it, it's kind of the meeting of the two stars of this one. Pena with the 3-run bomb. Napoli with 3 hits and the game-winning run. That's the kind of stuff that gets you an interview with Jim Knox.
All right, thanks, Rick. Mike, what happened? You get the go-ahead to come home, and clearly the ball came to home plate before you, but you were clearly in there. You touched the plate before you were tagged out, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to go in hard and, having to slide under the tag.
Now, you, as a catcher, would know in this situation on what to do exactly. Perhaps the catcher was thinking you were going to run him over and embracing for that while he was standing right on the plate or actually behind the plate.
I don't think I had enough to try to run him over, running from first. So, I just went in hard. I wasn't expecting really Dave to send me there, but I just kept going. I saw his arms going, and I slid in, and it was pretty safe.
Now, to say enough, you can't say enough about this team. Nelson Cruz ties the game. First, Michael's 2-run shot in the 8th. That ties it. They get a run. Then back comes Nelson Cruz. You get the game winner right there in the bottom of the 9th.
Yeah, that's huge for us. I mean, we gave up a run, and then we came back and, left him on the field.
All right, Mike, congratulations. Safe all the way around. Mike Napoli, Rangers win it. Rick?
Thank you, Knoxie. In just a moment, we'll hear from Ron Washington. Let's hear from Michael Young, who tied this baby up earlier on with the 2-run shot. He's standing by with Emily Jones.
I don't know. I saw the throw beat him, and I turned around to walk up the ramp, and the crowd started going crazy. I don't know what happened either. We'll take it. We'll take it.
You do know what happened on the home run that tied the game at 5. We're looking at the replay right now. Okay. So it looks like the ball.
I still don't know what happened.
I still don't know what happened either. All right. You do know what happened on the 3-0 count. Usually you don't swing at those, but you did. Talk about that tied the game at 5.
I was a tying run in the bottom of the 8th. Their guy's good. He's got a really good sinker, throws hard. I know he's got a good slider. I was a tying run, so I was going to take a shot at it if I got something up in the zone.
We were wondering out loud if you had called it to the president or something because you pointed to him in the owner's box.
He was like waving at me, so I felt he was president of the United States. I guess I have to address that. When he's waving, I got to point back at him.
And then finally, Michael, just what a win like this does for you guys now headed out on the road.
Big win. I mean, I think it's our first walk-off we had all season long here at home, so hopefully it gives us a little bit of momentum. We're going to play 2 really good teams in a row, so it should be fun.
Michael?
Thanks.
Thanks. Appreciate your time. That's Michael Young. We'll send it back up to you.
Thank you, Emily. Great stuff.